Yeah. Tune in. Turn the lights down low. You're locked into the frequency. Truth or what? Conspiracy theories. Step into the shadows where the neon starts to fade. Pulling back the curtain on the plans that they have made. We're decoding all the static, looking past the screen, chasing down the hidden links, keeping the vision clean. Look at the sky, look at the news, what's the real design? We're breaking down the structure one chapter at a time. No sleep, no days, keep the third eye sharp, navigating through the truth while we're drifting in the dark. You seek the truth, keep your eyes wide open. The mind awoke, yeah, the spell is broken. Every conspiracy, every hidden theory, we're talking clear so the world can't hear me. Dive into the deep end, never look back. The facts are the mission, we're on the right track. We're on the right track. Yeah, yeah. You want the perspective that cuts through the noise. You want the wisdom that stays poised. Meet the minds behind the lens, bringing you the heat. V from Vegas with the post, never missing the beat. Mr. Incense keeps the atmosphere heavy and deep, while B-Mo uncovers the secrets that they try to keep. The trio is assembled, the signal is clear. It's truth awoke, conspiracy theory right here. We seek the truth, keep your eyes wide open. The mind awoke, yeah, the spell is broken. Every conspiracy, every hidden theory, we're talking clear so the world can hear me. Dive into the deep end, never look back. The facts are a mission, we're on the right track. Yeah, yeah. V from Vegas, Mr. Incense, B-Mo. The truth awoke, conspiracy theory. Stay sharp, stay awake.
Yo, yo, yo.
Neef, you gonna do your intro, bro?
I thought people would do it.
I've been always playing the intro.
Oh, crap.
Incense, this is your show, bro. Like,
We all messed me up, though, because, he's like, yeah, I got the intro. So I'm like, I wasn't thinking nothing about it. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
And then also, like I said, remember we was talking about, taking over different spots or whatever. So
that's true. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. I was hitting the play button. That's what I was doing, hitting the play button. But we all here. So let's just make it work, baby. Make it work.
Right.
They here for the content. They ain't here for us fumbling the bar once in a while. The content is what they're here for.
Yes, sir. Hey, everybody, welcome to this Marcus Chong edition. The Matrix. Everybody's always talking about the Matrix, the glitches in the Matrix. We're going to talk about some old school interview. I want to say this was probably one of my first interviews, right, of a celebrity.
Mm-hmm. That was your first? When we did one, this was a part 2 from that first one that you did. And I think, if memory serves me correct, V, this was like your first really like live tap in to kick started in 08. So everything sounded brand new. Like, y'all get a chance to hear the unedited version of this particular one. But Marcus Chong, you mentioned the Matrix Incense, notably known, for playing the role in the Panther movie back in the day as well. He had a lot to say, but y'all uncovered a lot also as far as just conversating about just the industry. There's a bonus one if we get deep into it where Mr. Incense and I are talking to him about just the entertainment business and how AI could possibly be what it is. So it's pretty interesting if you take clips of this old school interview that we conducted back in the day and flip it upside down in 2020 right now. So it's great to be a part of this trio of panelists on Truth Awoke Conspiracy Theory. And this station, if you pull it up, BMO, on the QR code to your right, it's brought to you by who?
Brought to us by. There you go.
Shop W, make sure you get 10% off using the code TACT News. Scan the QR code. You can do that throughout the entire segment, and this is live, so it's going to be able to, keep it as a placeholder and run it back. So, as far as what you can remember, Mr. Incense, what do you recall from your interactions with Marcus Chong before you play anything from those clips from back then?
I hate to say it, man, but the main thing I remember is when, we had a caller and he wound up being, I think it was his first time calling us, but he wound up being
It's about Joe?
Joe from
Yeah.
Montana.
Yeah. And I mean, it got heated, man. And I mean, I was telling some folks about it. I think I was telling them, I know my daughter and her boyfriend, I was telling them about it a little bit. They were traveling. So they might be trying to listen. If not, they'll hit the replay, But yeah, man, he was going in, man. I guess Joe ruffled his feathers, but it wound up being good content. Like I said, it was controversial. It was a very heated I guess argument, But I mean, as far as Marcus Chong himself, man, I mean, all the accolades, for, I say Matrix, you know what I'm saying? Because I know more people as a whole or as a broad spectrum, they know about the movie, The Matrix, you know what I'm saying, over everything else. You know what I'm saying? So, but he was, what did he play? Huey P. Newton or?
Yeah.
Panther? Yeah. Yeah. So for him being able to kind of, switch his persona in those roles and stuff like that, I thought that was very, very good of him,
V, this was your first interaction with him. Do you recall or remember any of the interactions you had with him during that time?
I just remember the argument. I remember that argument got spiked and shit. That's all I remember. So I'm looking forward to seeing what was said during that. Yeah,
Well, I mean, I text you, V, a little bit because I went through it, and I want to say that, I mean, we never had suit and ties, and we were never buttoned up throughout those years, but that one sounded real suit and tie, tuxedo-ish. You know what I'm saying? So when you get a chance to like run some of this back and listen to it and just uncover what y'all thought, and still, maybe y'all still have the same views that y'all had back then, or when you listen to what he actually has to say, industry, his journey through it, specific things, y'all will be able to catch it and see what time it is when it comes back there. But yeah, I had a lot of moments to really kind of do a deep dive and cut some of these up, and it was it was it was real cool. So we'll get a chance to tap into that.
Right.
let's get it.
All right, without further ado, well, first of all, this was my very first show.
Okay.
I did not even know that this medium existed till somebody called me up on the phone one night and said, "Hey, man, can you ride with me on this show?" I'm like, "Man, I got you. We've been down since 4 Flat Tires since military days." And I'm gonna say this: I was floored, bro. Marcus Chong will surprise the hell out of me because Marcus Chong went from how should I say 3-piece suit
Hey, to back in that Black Panther leather jacket.
Y'all gonna continue. For the record, y'all, I want to say it's part 4. So there's layers to this.
We're gonna
So
wait
y'all
for
gotta hold on, people.
Wait
for them
for that
talking
one.
about the chaos that ensued. I think that's section 4 that we'll hit in. So
You don't want to miss it.
Y'all people gotta wait. Y'all gotta wait for that.
Things got real and real quick. Don't let the face fool you. Don't let the jello fool you. He came hard. I'm gonna leave it at that. All right, let's go. I don't want to get in the way. All right. Shall we start with the first clip?
Absolutely.
All right, here we go.
Marcus Chong. He's the actor, writer, director, probably a few other things, but I know at least those three things I know for a fact right now, man. He's played in The Matrix. He's played in Panther, and he's played on some network television, I believe, Law and Order, and a few other things. You know what I'm saying? We'll let him, get you up to speed with what he's doing and whatnot. And this is part two of a show last week, so we're not gonna go too deep into a lot of his whole discography and stuff like that, because there's a few other things, man, I want to get his opinion on what's going on, so we can really just chop it up and kick it, you know what I'm saying, instead of just be the whole question and answer type thing. But Marcus, what's good?
Yo, what's happening? Thank you for having me tonight. I appreciate that. I know last week we kind of got the scheduling mixed up, so I'm really happy to be here tonight.
Oh man, it's a pleasure and an honor, man, to have you on again. You know what I'm saying? Somebody of your stature to be on our show, at least twice, man. It's definitely a blessing, man. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely.
Mr. Incense, you're the one with the court. It's your house. I'm here just to play ball with you, man. I'm ready to pass to you, dish to you, post it up, whatever we got to do to make this right.
Hey, let's do it, man. Hey, man. So how you been, man? How's your week been?
Well, I've been dealing with the propaganda of what's going on in the industry. I've been confronting certain issues. So I was watching the invasion of the body snatchers the other night, and I think that's going to be kind of my metaphor for what's going on, which is, Cats is on some other level stuff today, and they may not know what's going on behind the scenes in the film industry. They may not know the nature of the affairs of state. And, I'm just here to break it down and just to, chop it up and talk. Just a regular guy. I'm here, I'm accessible, and I'm approachable, and I just want to reveal some of the secrets that are going on in the societies that are the underground movements, which are led by, casting agents, studios, and the people of the industry, and, of course, the audience who spends all their money, who everyone targets, all of their goods towards, the audience member who basically keeps people's careers alive, and they're the ones who have had all their power taken away, so I just want to give some power back to the audience.
Okay. Man, we definitely interested, man, and we got ears wide open. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm going to just jump into it. When I made The Matrix, it was a great opportunity because I was a young actor. I had just finished doing Broadway. I had done a couple of really important roles like Huey P. Newton in Panther, and it was a great pleasure to take on such figures in history in my film opportunities, because it's better than just doing a commercial, let's say. It'd be like there's more substance to it, and it's not just for the paycheck. It actually becomes a labor of love. You actually become educated. You actually take on a little bit of the character that you might want to portray in a situation like that because they're so positive and so strong, and their moral standards are so high. And when you're a young actor, 20, 21, you can be so impressionable. And to be able to take on those kind of characters is a gift. It's a blessing. And I just want to celebrate that, even though it seems to me the industry has taken my good work and used it against me. Speaking as far as image is concerned, which is an image is really what we, the artists, make our money off of a lot of times. Just what we look like or how we dress, how we move, what we want to wear as far as clothing goes, and it becomes style. So these studios count on the image of a cat to come in there so that they can get certain markets. Let's say they want the urban market. Well, they want a cat that can bring in that urban market. So the image is real important. And when actors have their image portrayed or used on television, we rely on residual checks, which is our royalty checks. Like, that's important because our job, like let's say Marlon Brando did Superman. Remember that movie?
Right.
Like Marlon Brando only worked for 2 days. But he was the movie when they marketed the film to bring in those audiences. Said, we got the weight of a Marlon Brando. So that really was significant when they paid him the $5 million to do like 2 days' work. Now, his image is important. So when he gets those royalty checks over years, he counts on that because the studios, they'll have a 50-year anniversary, 70-year, 5-year anniversary. So 75 years down the line, they're making money off those images. So residual checks, royalties, how we get paid is so crucial. And me, you know, I grew up in the industry, so I set a lot of tones and paved the way for a lot of young actors to get paid the big money that they're getting paid today. And I may not be getting the same kind of benefits. It's kind of like Curt Flood. If you know anything about baseball, Curt Flood was an African-American player that played for the Phillies. I believe it was the Phillies. And he's the first free agent in sports. So when Curt Flood was alive, he was the first athlete to say, you know what, because once the Yankees owned you, they owned you forever. You couldn't just go trade off and be with the Oakland A's. They owned your contract. So he was the first one to say, you don't own me. I can go and trade myself off to the Brooklyn Dodgers. He became the first free agent. So when you get people like Kobe Bryant coming out of high school making $100 million contracts, it's people like Curt Flood that made that possible, even though he doesn't get the credit he deserves. You know, these actors like myself, you know, have paved the way for a lot of actors to do their thing today. And these things may not be known, or they may be known, but there has to be something in the acting industry that's a little closer to rap music than what's going on in the film industry, because the film industry at this point they're untouchables. No one can get to Hollywood. No one dare get to Hollywood. No one wants to dare be on that blacklist. But if you're born black, you put on a list. Let me just tell you that right now.
From the get-go, you already...
You on a list if you're born black.
You're born into it, yeah. Okay, man.
So basically what I'm saying is a lot of these issues, which if you go to my blog on the MySpace is going to start getting into the details, but where did a lot of this stuff come from for me when I made The Matrix? Well, when I made The Matrix, they had decided before I signed the contract that they were not going to give me royalty checks on The Matrix. Now, of course, they did this behind my back. So 10 years later, I'm a little upset still because I'm not getting my royalty checks. And when I talk about it, I get harassed by the cops, or I have to go to a huge litigation against Warner Brothers to just get the money for my image, which is what they're making their studio profits off of for the past 10 years. And it's a real problem because I've been harassed horrendously by the LAPD.
Wow. Dude, he dropping some gems, bro. Man, good plug on this, Brandon. I mean, to bring this one out. I mean, dude, I'm starting to remember some of this stuff. I'm like, wow.
We still got a connection to him.
Yeah.
That would have been cool to have him here too. Like,
a lot of stuff he's talking about still going on today. It's actually getting worse.
It's 100 times worse now. If you look at royalties, and I've seen this from celebrities I dealt with, you know, business and personal, their checks ain't shit. Let's keep it a buck. Like, you know, one of the hit sitcoms or one of the hit movies or one of the hit whatever, I've seen royalty checks for $2.24. I've seen royalty checks for like the highest I saw was like $95 and some change.
Wow.
And this is work that what Chung was talking about as far as just your likeliness. They're clearly making way more money off of whatever check they cut to you or whatever at the end of the day. And I'm gonna make this observation before y'all comment on what was said. Like, you know, and I hate pulling it up because a lot of it see it as black white. Idea was stolen, this, that, and the other. But it's Friends versus Living Single, right? When those two shows kind of took flight because Living Single was on first, Friends came on afterwards. If you know how the story goes, it literally, like, it was an idea. Friends had it on this network. Living Single had it on the other. NBC was the bigger beast. So they pushed Friends to no end, and residuals right now from all the actors. Rest in peace, Matthew Perry, who passed away, I want to say a year or so ago, is still making millions of dollars from that. But living single folks are making nothing, next to nothing, or whatever.
That's right.
How is that fair? Why is that not balanced? It's network power, but also it's how they market it or pushed it or whatever too. So
I think it's their
it's
contract, what they had, because I think that you can. I forgot the dude that I think he played in The Shy also. He one of these kid actors. I think that he had told a story about how he was the voice of one of the cub and Lion King, and his mom got him a deal
Jason
to
Weaver.
where he get residuals from that, and it actually was much more money than it would have been if he had got it up front. So I wonder if it's just like music, where, like I said, I would say it's probably gotten worse, but it probably ain't gotten better for those who are a little bit sharper in the game. Because I think that it's got to be stuff that you tied to. I mean, this entertainment game is kind of funny because it's hard to gauge what your value or your worth to something, because you really just don't know how things are going to go. It could be worth more later on down the road, and you might have sold yourself short taking money up front instead of staying tied to it in the long run. But I'm hearing that that's the reason why a lot of these music producers charge so much, is because they're getting paid one time now instead of getting getting that back pay from having their name on it as like a producer or something like that. They're getting $100,000 to do a beat, and it's their beat, and you don't get no more after that.
What you mentioned about Jason Weaver is interesting
Yeah,
because
Jason Bieber.
Oh,
he sung on that. He portrayed that character as well on that.
And
They
Simba,
re up. They was willing to give him a specific dollar amount. Mom, his manager at the time, said, "Nah, we're gonna just take it on the back end. We're gonna get this a little bit now, but we're gonna recoup that in future earnings." So they politicked it in a way where if Lion King didn't hit, they probably wouldn't have got what they got based on it. But now he's getting paid for life because it was such a monster now, right? Just like Friends, like I mentioned earlier. But a lot of people don't know what it's going to wind up being until it is what it is. So are you willing to take the money up front now, or are you willing to get dealt with on the back end in terms of that? So that's all part of the negotiation process with how things are. Now, in Marcus' situation right now, the way it was set up, I mean, he's basing it off the Matrix. So anybody that remembers the Matrix, and I'm gonna be honest with this, do y'all remember how impactful his portrayal in his character was or wasn't? Is the question.
And
So
which one?
on the Matrix, the first one.
You knew he was, because it wasn't. It's not like it's a bunch of characters, so you knew he was one of them.
yeah,
yeah, he was
Right.
impactful.
yeah, he was a feature. He was not like a secondary character. He was the main part of the story. He wasn't there just for one or two scenes. He was there for a substantial amount of the movie. I would say that he should have been paid, at not the same tier of the star, but as any other secondary role that was in the movie. I mean, I can't forget Tank. He was the operator. He was pulling people out. He was coordinating missions and things like that. That's substantial to me. Now, I'm not an expert, but he's definitely a person that I have not forgotten since I've seen The Matrix way back when we were in our early 20s. So, I would expect that he would have gotten reasonably compensated. And hearing what he said in that interview was very disheartening, because it just solidifies the complaints that actors, especially actors of color and female actors, have been dealing with for decades, maybe even longer than that. So that's my two cents.
It goes way deeper. Like I said, when we do other shows, especially shows about overseas, you'll see how it's done on a country level.
Yeah, and it's across entertainment. Cadillac Records. You see how the brothers got done on in that movie. They gave him pennies on the dollar and gave him cars and said, "Well, be happy with that. We got you a car." And you can't afford to eat, you can't afford to buy a home, but they buy you back those days a $20,000 Cadillac, and they just think, well, they'll be happy with that. You get a car. When they
Crazy
just
thing is, so many people were.
yeah,
Hey.
but they knew that we were not educated on the money.
You didn't know the value. You wasn't even knowing. They probably didn't even have a clue on how much money these people was making.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Cadillac Records.
That's exactly the point.
That's Death Row in the 90s. What are we talking about?
That's every entertainment. That's every.
That's Death Row though.
That's all
That's
the music.
Cadillac Records, Death Row. You go, fucking what is it? Epic, Motown. You go that was the reason why the Jacksons left when they got older, because Motown was pilfering them. They wasn't doing. They kept re-upping, but they wasn't getting what they didn't get no credits for writing. They didn't get nothing. That's why they left Motown to go to Epic, RCA,
Right.
whatever the hell at that particular time.
Mhm.
But they got just like the movie game right now. It is getting pilfered by the day, by the hour. The shit he was talking about in 08 is still relevant now, and it's worse because of AI. They're literally getting as much as they can get out of it right now, and not paying some of these actors. But I'm gonna play devil's advocate with y'all. And I know we talked about him. He's not on the hot seat, but he's on the seat right now, because we're
Right.
talking about his interview. But devil's advocate, was Tank more important than Morpheus or Neo during that stretch, right?
That's not fair.
Yeah, because that's not. Yeah, because I mean, really, you got to look at what was the girl's name? How much was she? You know what I'm saying? Raking in.
Who? You talking about Jada Pinkett?
No, the girl on the Matrix.
It was quite a few.
Not the
The
main
other,
character.
the other
not the
leading
main
lady,
girl.
lady outside of
Neo's girl.
Yeah.
Oh, she was, like I said, she was like the number 2 character.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't be a fair comparison. A fair comparison would be like one of the other operators, or the dude that actually betrayed them that got their ass caught.
I think he kind of stood alone in his own lane, but he, like you said, he wasn't as high as Neo and them, but he kind of was in that pocket, like kind of right up under them.
He was gonna get rolled down, and they was gonna play his part as a character.
But that was expected.
Everybody else in the background wouldn't. It was the 15 people that they really based that story around. He's one of the 15 people.
I'll say this: he was substantial, and that's a hill I'm down on. I'm done with it.
No, hey, first movie, 100% right. He was an integral part of that movie. Why did they phase him out? He wasn't, they didn't kill him.
Wasn't that because that was the reason he got phased out? Because he wanted more money, and they were like, "We can replace you," and they did.
They did him like they did old boy Iron Man. Terrence Howard?
Terrence Howard.
You know what's funny? He mentioned that it's in the bonus section at the end, so we could play that whenever, because Chung mentioned Robert Downey Jr. and Terrence Howard as far as just that whole dynamic. So that was a part of the first part, Mr. Incense, on the conversation we had when I set it up and did the interview with him. So, and that's when he was talking about something that might be AI or some shit like that. So we can run that whenever. But no, I mean, I feel like he's right, but I always feel like this, like, there are certain stars to people who gets taken care of. It's that 1% that we always talk about with music. Like, they're going to take care of the Mariah Careys and the Dre's and the Jay-Z's and shit like that or whatever. But any of these other hardworking people who literally got shine but not bright enough to be able to overcome that 1% is going to get stuck literally in the matrix of not getting paid as much or not getting the type of residuals and shit like that too, because it's cutthroat.
Hey, we got Brandon, we got a comment in the chat room. Let me put my glasses on so I can see the dang name.
All right, old man.
Like Mama Mambasito. I don't want to mess that up. Mamba. That's what we're gonna call you today, Mambi. Mambi says, without Tank doing his job, people would have died and then wouldn't have been able to get in and out. I mean, yeah, that's like I said, he had a crucial job, man.
Yeah, I
Look,
agree. Like I said, it wasn't number about 15 characters.
hey, look, if Tank did do his job, they've been rolling the end credits. That's it. Period. Point blank.
Yeah, he wasn't dude with the red shirt in the back of the club. They didn't list him as that. They put his name and who he played.
So he also mentioned, he being Marcus Chung, mentioned the fact that when he asked for more money, he got caught up, meaning LA cops, just trouble that came with him asking for money. Is that reaching, or does he have a point?
He might have been catching that just because he was in LA and probably where he was at, because I don't think he's famous enough to where anybody would recognize him right off the bat. But he's famous enough to be in places where the average person wouldn't be, and I can damn sure see that might be it more than anything.
Okay, famous
And
enough
it's
to
young,
be.
so he even in places where even above his pay grade, because his daddy was somebody. So he might be he might be going somewhere in Beverly Hills where the average dude ain't got no business being over there, but he over there.
Famous enough to be blackballed.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. All right. Maybe got another comment, and if I'm messing up your name, I apologize in advance. But he said, "I'm thinking of it as a combat engineer from the military. We were always support without cleaning obstacles and lanes. Then the infantry couldn't assault the objective and complete the mission. So basically, he's saying that he was like the engineer. He was the orchestrator. He was making the calls or relaying orders, and troops couldn't coordinate without him.
He was a quarterback. He was a quarterback of the seat. He was on the matrix seat, or whatever you want to call it.
that
He was
part.
a quarterback. BMO, can you pull up those comments so it can show up on the screen too?
Let's see if I can get that for you, brother. And
You
there
can pull
we
them up
go.
on yours, even if you can't. You can pull them up over on the right on yours.
All
In
right.
the chat. If you just put up a chat, you can see it.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Yeah, if you can, just blend them in and out. Like, put them in, do the comments, and then see if you can phase them right out. So,
Okay.
you won't be stuck on that too. But no, I mean, I think personally he has a point. I've heard stories from other people about just how they just can't get shows no more, or they're typecasted, or whatever the case may be. So he has a point, but also we have an issue too, though. Like, why do people still, if this is bad the way it is, why do still people still do it, or want to deal with these uh movie theaters and these production companies and stuff like that, or whatever? Why do
Because
people still do
payoff
it?
if you succeed.
Yeah.
Payoff is
Well,
tremendous. Whole
they,
lot of money, access to men or women that you ain't never had. If you're a female, you getting dudes that you'll never be. You getting access to places that you've never been. The reward is high. That's the reason why. That's why
well, if you
people
think,
put up with all the shit they do.
well, if
Yep.
you think about it too, they, you know what I'm saying, they're coerced by what they're shown. The celebrity status, the popularity and all that. But if you got to think too, it's technically, we think of it like it's a lot of people, but it's still a small scale. It's a circle. Like a lot of those people that are already connected, they've been connected through mainly family members and stuff before them. So that they're put in that position. These, especially some of these child actors or whatever, they got access because their parents was in it, but producers and writers of shows and stuff like that, they kind of keep that in the family. But see, a lot of people don't talk about that. So I remember I was watching something about they was talking about Daz Dillinger, you
Mhm.
know, and one guy was like, man, we thought he was, straight hood or whatever, but his mom worked for what was it, Janet Jackson or something like that, and used to be on the set and stuff like that. A lot of people, I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, wow. But
You talking about Daz, like Dog
yeah,
Pound Daz?
yeah, he had access. You know what I'm saying? At a young age.
Well, I agree with that. And a lot of people do. Hammer was a bad boy.
Yep.
So, I mean, that you see that a lot. You see that most of these people knew each other from some way or some little small group that they was a part of.
Right.
Yeah, all the time. And it's if you probably dug back into most of these politicians' history, you're gonna see that they all connected to somebody
Yeah,
from back in the
a lot
day.
of them related. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them related.
Okay, I
That's
get
been the way
that.
of the world for a long time.
I get that, but why does everybody have the same problem of not getting paid, not getting royalties, not getting residuals? It
So
just
to me,
if
it's
it's a
still
cycle like that, why is it still a problem? And we're talking about decades on end because there's people who got shortchanged in terms of in this history and movies in particular. Since we're talking about Marcus Chung as well, it's cutthroat. We get it. V, I heard you. Like a lot of people want that notoriety. They want to have a chance to get on this platform so they can grow it. But I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people still run into the same drama with not getting paid.
Because you
Yeah,
don't have a choice. If
that's
you
right.
want it, you gotta walk the walk. You
It-
don't have a choice in it. You can't say, "Well, I'm Prince. I'm not gonna sign for y'all, and I ain't gonna let." Yeah, okay. Then you just not gonna be there. You're gonna be you still be playing at Kiki's in the neighborhood.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah, that's your option. Yeah, go in there and tell them you ain't doing it for less than $100 grand.
Yeah,
You're gonna be playing at Kiki's tomorrow, and then you're gonna be the guy that don't nobody want to deal with.
yeah, but that's so true because if you think about the golden age of movies, the contracts are so brutal. They own you, and not only did they own you, if you didn't do what they said, they had the right to give you to other studios, the foreign studios. They'll send your ass to Italy for 2 or 3 years on a BS contract just to show you how much power they had. Now, the second point is when we have a prime example of media control or control of studios and executives, Harvey Weinstein. Think about it. Think about it.
These dudes sleeping with girls they would never have access to just to get a role or
Yeah,
the opportunity to get a role.
but
Yep.
he has so much power that he was assaulting people for decades with impunity.
Mhm.
Now remember that executive that harassed Terry Crews at that party,
Right.
Yeah.
and he, from what I've remembered, that gentleman had a history, but nobody wanted to buck back because they knew how much power he wielded. Look at Epstein. I mean, it's all
I
institutional
can't even
power.
imagine being around a guy that is so goddamn powerful that he can hit on me and I'm cool with the shit.
Right. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
It ain't a
Listen,
damn thing
let's
you
keep
offer
it.
that I want.
People losing their dignity, dude, for that
Yeah,
shit.
like
Let's keep
you
it
can't
let's
hit
keep
on me and I ain't gonna tell nobody because you know
Man,
who that is.
I tell my kids, bro. I tell my kids, if
Man,
real
you're
shit.
around,
Real
if
shit.
you're around somebody that will do anything for money, get away from their ass.
mhm. Yep.
But
Get away
that's everybody in this entertainment business. All these big ass companies who are paying or not paying in some cases, some of these people who literally all they want is to make a good film, star in a role if they're able to, get residuals for a long period of time and keep it moving.
Mhm.
But you mentioned Weinstein and Epstein and all these other Steens out there who's doing dirty shit.
Unfortunately, it's a lot of Jews. I ain't hating, but
It,
it's a lot of Jews.
Not all Jews now. Not all Jews.
No, I'm
Disclaimer.
saying not all Jews, but I'm saying it's a lot of Jews running it, dude.
Let's not dance that dance.
Liar Cohen, he admitted, what he used to do to the rappers at his labels and the artists, getting them drunk and drugged up, man.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
But it's a long going issue on movies and music and entertainment that any issues that pop up. All right, I feel like I want more money. Y'all know the En Vogue story. Record deal one was a hit. What they was told was second album, we gonna re-up. We gotta get more money because the first one was a hit. I get the first one, but the second one y'all owe me. The only person who stood on business at that time was Don, and y'all see how that worked out. Same thing with TLC. Everybody says their first album, second album, they were told they were going to get a re-up on the second one so they can make more money because they didn't make no money on none of these first albums. I get it.
Just think that
Y'all
you
are
foul as shit to make that much money off somebody and be like, what?
But that's what they did.
You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly what they did.
That's what they did.
I see how Pooh Shiesty did that. I ain't saying it's okay, but I understand. That's why I've turned away from it, because I was like, bruh, if you was to tell me I couldn't make no money off of me,
that's
you
what
actually-
Marcus
boy,
Chong
you-
said.
nah.
Marcus Chong said that. He said, y'all are making money off my likeliness right now. There's a problem with that when I'm not getting nothing. Or if I do get something, I'm gonna get this little $3 check, and y'all probably made 100,000, 200,000 off of whatever I did off of that. Where's the fairness in that at this day and age? And I'm not.
It
I
wouldn't
get
even be
it.
that bad if they was close half the time. It'd be such a strong armor that you'd be like, for real? Damn, that's how you did them? Like, you made 100 million, you gave him 200,000 and let him pay his own taxes and all that stuff on it, and he paid the rest of the group off that 200,000.
That's what I'm
You did
saying.
them like that, folks. Come on, man.
That's what I'm
You be
saying.
that
But
cold.
the industry is like that, though. Music industry.
That's
For instance,
entertainment.
you mentioned Daz. Daz didn't get no credit for none of them Dre beats or whatever that he paid. I mean, let's just keep it real. Like, he was influential in that shit. He has said that. And he still, so when Snoop Dogg bought Death Row, he's still trying to sue Snoop and get old money. Still to this day.
And it's a never-ending cycle, because just like a predator, they do it to the next person. They do it to the next person. They get big enough, they do it to the next person.
Mm-hmm. Just think about it like this. When we think about the sphere of influence, you can probably put every head of every major entertainment company in one ballroom.
Yeah.
Or even one dinner table. And when you look at it like that, where they all at some point they have a network, right? They can control prices, they can control contracts.
Yeah.
You know, and then what do? They strike. We had a big actor strike, a writer strike a couple of years ago. And you know, it's just the way that they built out the system from day one, and it's just going to take, you know, the resources, not the owners, but the resources, to say, if you don't give us fair deals, then we're going to stop being your resource.
Man, that ain't gonna never happen, because I really think that the powers that may be, like, they split the pie up. Like, we're gonna let y'all run entertainment, we're gonna do politics, we're gonna do banking, and I think it's a big old gang, and they split the pie up.
Well, I think divide and conquer is always in play, but
it's so many people that get screwed over that you would think it'd be
Yeah.
all kinds of lawsuits, it'd be pushes for law to change and all kinds of stuff like that, but there's nothing like that.
but think about it, the writer's strike was effective, though. The writer's strike did something. I don't know if it's going to be impactful on a global scale, but they fight the fights and they win. Now, what will be better is the ones who are separating all of these industries, right, come together. But that's what I think would be more of a wishful thinking than an actual reality, in my opinion.
Right.
So I'll ride with you on that.
Again, the way the game is played is just like
I thought it worked. I thought they got what they asked for.
They're about to go fight AI right now. Like, they didn't get what they thought they were gonna get. They settled for what they got. But now they got to take on AI now. They don't want their likeliness to be copied by AI, so then they could do whatever studio can do whatever it is they want to do with it. They're still fighting. And
Just
you know how
imagine.
long ago BMO the writer strike was? That wasn't that long ago. And
Yeah,
they're
that was
still
just like-
fighting. They're still fighting old cases mixed in with the new shit now. Now they got to deal with AI. Now they got to deal with the likeliness of others as far as their own likeliness, and they're still getting compromised online. Like, I could go on Google Gemini right now and put up something or whatever with a likeness of any of us or celebrities, and I could still use that shit without any ramifications on it at all whatsoever.
Right.
That's
I think
crazy.
Yeah, I think that's just the evolution of litigation. And here's one thing about America that is always seen where compared to Europe, right? In America, things are legal until they're made illegal. And in Europe, things are illegal until they're made legal. And I could never for the life of me understand that you just have open season on any immoral thing until it's proven by a court of law. And
taxes are like that too.
Yeah, and until that changes,
done like that. And that's the reason why people take the chances they do. And like I said, I did taxes, and I'll tell you, the most honest people that I saw was black people that made between probably about $40,000 and $70,000. They're the most honest people out there. Everybody else,
why? Because they don't want to get fucked over as far as
they're scared of the IRS
penalties and shit like that. So they trying
but
to play
the
it
thing
as close to
is,
the vest as possible.
you gotta learn what it is that they're doing and how they know what they know. And what they do. Like I said, when I hear Donald Trump, when they was always talking about his taxes, I can, he didn't pay for this, didn't pay for that. I know how he did it. He wrote it off as something else. It's about how you write it. It depends on what you're doing.
He devalued his assets like his daddy did. You
got to play the game that they're playing, and those laws are there for you to know too. It's just that you just don't know them.
Yeah. Right. But if America,
they do, and the object is to try to pay as little in taxes as you possibly can.
Exactly.
You find every single perk that you can find. That's what the person that you got that's doing your taxes is supposed to find for you. A lot of times you don't have to do that for people. You just go, let me see your W-2s, and I can do that. You might have $200,000 worth of money back there somewhere that if I ain't got to see it on W-2 or 1099, I don't know you did that.
Hey, the world is made of loopholes, just like taxes.
Loopholes, yeah.
Taxes is made of it. So
bunch of them. Some of these things they'll fight in court. It's illegal right now, but they fighting in court 2 years from now. It is legal, and it's been in court long enough for you to. Okay, well, what they said I'm gonna have to pay. Hey, law changed. I don't need to pay now. And you can play this game with them
just like the fucking tuck rule. They didn't make that shit happen until later. So
right. So
need I say more? I'm gonna
stop. You just gotta know what the law is and know how to manipulate it in your best interest.
Exactly. We're gonna run the second clip, BMO, of this classic interview with Marcus Chong from 2008, hosted by Mr. Incense, V for Vegas, BMO, on Truth Awoke Conspiracy Theory. Go ahead and run that.
Right now, when I asked the Matrix people, yo, give me some money to do the sequels. Now, it wasn't about the money. It was about dignity. It's like, why am I working for free? Why am I not getting residual checks? We're breaking records. What they did was they put a guy on the phone from Warner Brothers named, what's his name? Steven Slack, I believe it was. And he threatened me. And he did it in a real smooth, gangster-style way, so he wouldn't implicate himself. And when I called the police to be like, yo, help me, the police were like, come on down here. We'll help you out. I went down there, and they arrested me on the spot. This is 10 years ago for making The Matrix and trying to stand up for my rights to get my royalties. This is a real issue because, on one hand, they arrest me and tell me I'm a terrorist, but on the other hand, they're making billions of dollars off of my work. So now which is it? So you can't. So that becomes exploitation. If you want to not deal with me, then don't make the butter off of me. But don't on one hand feed your children, and on the other hand make certain I never work again, so that I don't bring your studio down, because they know that I'm the type of guy that don't play around. So
you're gonna make noise.
I'm gonna make. We artists, we don't carry weapons. We just have talent in our voice. And all we can do is say, hey, man, I'm not going to be in your project, man, and fuck it. Fuck you, fuck your project. Right. An artist doesn't have the power to strong-arm a studio, but a studio definitely has the power to strong-arm an actor.
Right, man. That's crazy, man. So,
you know what, Mr. Incense? I'm going to tell you, man, in Revolutionary Suicide, written by Huey P. Newton, one of his chapters was, why do they call black people crazy? Because that's what they do all the time. Because when a black person wants to stand up and get his money, that is crazy, because you're going to be lynched, brother. So it is crazy. It is a form of suicide to stand up for your rights in Hollywood. Yes, it is. It's crazy, which it shouldn't be. It should be business as usual.
Yeah. Wow.
So what is it? Is there any other ways? Probably, because I'm pretty sure it ain't just happening to you. Is it other actors that probably, you guys can come together and, in forums like this and other type of forums that probably you can, your voice could be heard loud enough to people going, hey, you know what? we the ones that support your movies. You know, we want you to support the artists that play in the movies.
You see, that's a brilliant question, Mister. And since I'm gonna tell you, because people, as the fans, are being taken advantage of. Because the fans are like, well, shit, we want to support Marcus Chong. We watch his movie all the time. You know, I've had fans watch the movie 1,000 times. You know, it really nice kids, man, who just want to watch a good movie. It's not the fans' fault when they go rent Matrix or when they buy Matrix that I'm not getting paid for the Matrix. The studio's keeping that money. So they're tricking the audience. It's like when you went to see Matrix 2 and 3. They didn't say Tank would not be in this. And let me tell you, when I was shooting Matrix 2 and 3, every day on set, a PA, a production assistant, which is a glamorized gopher, let's say, would come up to me and be like, yo, don't you die in the movie? Don't you die at the end of the script? Don't you die in the Matrix? And my response, and I was taken down to Sydney, Australia. I've never been to Sydney, Australia before. I'm from Seattle. I was like, well, don't you read the script? Like, haven't you read the script? And then what would happen is, it's really a mindset, which is, well, Lawrence Fishburne's in the movie. He's black. I know 2 black men will not be making it to the sequels. You feel me? So they were sure I wasn't going to make it. And not only that, and by the end of the sequels, which I lived at the end of The Matrix, by the time the sequels come out, what really happened? They phone called in my death scene and said that I died because they had a mindset that Tank was going to die from the beginning beyond what the script read, beyond what the movie was. They was going to kill off this nigga anyway. And that's the real politics of how they would push my buttons on a daily basis. Right. Now, I'm an American actor, so we have a union here called the Screen Actors Guild, which is supposed to protect actors. Which Screen Actors Guild did not do that. I mean, they had no interest to protect anything. So when I went down to Australia, you know, I didn't even have a dressing room. And I was like, guys, I got, you know, big scenes. I got to, you know, protect my performance. I need a dressing room. So I was in shows like Little House on the Prairie, like in 1978 or 79 or something like that. And I'm going to tell you right now, man, on The Matrix, Joey Pantoliano, who played Cypher, had a bus. He got paid $1 million. Carrie Ann had a star trailer. She got paid $2 million. Lawrence Fishburne had a bus. He got paid $7 million. Keanu got $20 million. He had a star trailer. And they brought literally, damn near literally, the trailer from Little House on the Prairie and put it between an old beat-up piece of shit trailer and put it between Joey Pantoliano's bus and Lawrence Fishburne's bus to humiliate me on set. And it was like, they would do things like that just to disrespect me. And I was like, you know, I'm a black man. We've been through so much. I'm going to even do a better performance to show you guys you can't fuck with my headspace. Right. And they would do things like this to antagonize me all along. And I know why and things like that. We'll get into that. But it was a built-up thing. It wasn't like I said, I want money and if I don't get $500,000. I would have done those movies for free because I made the movies. I would never have demanded $500,000. I've never been paid that kind of money in my whole career. The fact of the truth is, I said, look, your agent, because they had their agent, William Morris, go behind my back in a conflict of interest and negotiate my deal. Now, after I did a movie like Panther, I was a superstar. So they didn't know it, but William Morris signed me back in 1995. Now, William Morris put me on the shelf because Joan Fields, who now represents people like Chris Rock as a manager, she was with William Morris. She left and became a manager and, you know, did her own thing, and she was the only African-American in William Morris. So I was stuck with an agency that wasn't going to really help me. So by the time The Matrix came out, it became such a phenomenon. Who was the first people to call me after 5 years of not returning any of my phone calls when we did The Matrix to negotiate my deal? William Morris. Who did they represent? Larry and Andy Wachowski. It was a conflict of interest. I said, look, guys, I got a contract with Christensen Miller, my attorneys, in Century City. If I breach that contract, they're going to sue me. I can't have, and I said, no, I said, William Morris will never represent this deal because they don't even know that they represented me in 1995. They shelved me. And now they're trying, it's like being married, getting a divorce, and having your ex-wife come to your new house with your new wife and your new family talk about, I live here. No, baby, you don't live here. So when I said, no, guys, I'm not taking it. I tell you what I'll do, though. I'll do both Matrix 2 and 3 for free. Because I can't let you. I'm not gonna let you guys rob me. If you're gonna rob me, let me just offer to do it for free. And I was very sincere about that. But that's the position they put a black man in the first place, which is, A, they're not going to listen to your representation if your representation is going to get you that money. B, they're going to take you down if you confront anything anyway. So they're going to make you have to say, I'll take the role for free. Now, here's a movie, The Matrix, making billions, trillions of dollars in profits over the years. Why should I have to not give residual checks? Why? What is it? They're not going to miss that small amount of money. So they have a plan, which is they're going to set an example for an actor like Marcus Chong, because they don't want me to incite 100 other actors over the next few years who look up to me to say, hey, stand up for your royalties. Hey, do what you got to do. Hey, walk from those sequels if that's what it takes. Because actors won't do that. Actors got to take anything they can, God bless them. But me, I was one of those actors that was like, fuck you. I'm not here to just get screwed in my behind and not get a proper reach around.
This is wild.
I know.
But I guess that's the entertainment business, because you hear about the same thing in music. It's people that made millions off other people's stuff, and the guy that was behind the scenes, he living good, and you see this guy mopping up some, he the janitor at some school and shit, and I'm like, but he got a hit song that people still love today. I mean, it's crazy how they're able to do that. And what would you probably suggest for new up and comers, or what probably could be done to prevent that in the long run? Because obviously, I don't even know what to say about it. Because I mean, I got a story to tell about a guy that I knew. He was a boxer, Oba Carr. He fought a couple big fights. And this guy, I ran into him in Vegas, and he was homeless. He was living in one of the studios down the street from my house, and the guy was asking for socks, trying to spend the night at the house. We had nowhere to go, and I'm like, man, you fought Oscar De La Hoya and a couple other big fights, and this is where you're at now? And I'm like, man, it's crazy how entertainers get treated like that.
It's very true, because I'm going to tell you, Little Richard wasn't paid for Tutti Frutti. Everybody knows this. That was, 1950. Now, over years, Little Richard ended up winning a settlement where he ended up getting his money in back pay for all those years, because he started rock and roll on so many levels. He started so much music style. And, you look at it and you go, well, that happened to Little Richard. It's going to happen to you too, brother. You know what you was doing. You was in there. You knew when you stood up to these whiteys what was going to happen. You knew how the studios was going to come down on you. You should have been ready for it. Ain't nobody ever ready for that, brother. And let me tell you another thing. This ain't 1950, and I ain't Little Richard. This is 2008. It's unheard of that this is going on today. Meanwhile, Blockbusters has record-breaking DVD sales. So, this is a design. It's not a coincidence that Brother Terrence Howard is not going to be in Iron Man 2. This is a real, because that's a real stand-up kind of cat. He's a real brother, and you know what I'm saying? It's a different kind of mentality. So they basically, and I don't want to say it like that, but, they kind of messing with light-skinned actors a little bit, like, the whole field nigga, house nigga thing has flipped and reversed over the past years. Well, house niggas ain't the house niggas no more. They in the field. Field niggas ain't the field niggas. They in the house. And it ain't good for niggas to be slaves on no level. Nonetheless, which one do you prefer? Fuck that.
Yeah. Wow.
And it's a slave mentality. It's image slavery. Once you start exploiting images and it becomes something that they've been doing for years upon years upon years, it means it's built into the.
Man, I was just texting that, bro. That was a great interview, and V, you was on your thing, bro, on that interview, bro.
Oh yeah, buttoned up.
Man, I think it all depends on how it's going. Yeah, when I'm listening to it, I'm like, Okay. That was before, I really knew about the entertainment business, and I was listening because, like I said, I knew Overcar. And it's crazy. I just was telling somebody about Overcar yesterday. I was telling my cousin about, we was watching boxing. I was telling them how I knew Overcar. Over fought Felix Trinidad and fought De La Hoya, man, and it's sad, dude, because he just like I said, he was homeless. He just really needed like somebody to look out for him. Like I said, some of those guys, like I said, especially with
Mhm.
boxing, it messed with their head or whatever. So I just felt like he might have been having some effects of a boxing career, and it's kind of sad, dude. It's kind of sad that somebody can have that much success and still got to go through life the way the average person does with that level of success.
Man, after listening to just those two segments, man, he was a easy interview because
Yeah, yeah.
I could tell. I'm kind of remembering back a little bit that I was kind of quiet, and I was just like, I remember I was formulating questions, and I had questions, but he was like, he was rattling the answers off before I could even ask questions. So I was
That's
just
why it
like,
would be good to do it again with it and see how
Yeah,
it go this time.
in terms of that, how is it? What do these young people say these days? Y'all let them cook back then. So
right,
Yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah,
has something to say. He has something to say.
yeah.
That's
yep,
it.
And the
hmm
thing that it was before he really started that journey of getting his money, I'm thinking of
yeah,
trying because
yeah,
while I was doing it, I was actually reading up on what's he doing now, and I guess he had a few, like I said, he had restraining orders put on him. I guess he'd been arrested behind this stuff, so he really went on a campaign trying to get his bread.
yeah,
So it sounded like this might have been pre that, which
yeah.
that's good
Yeah.
good footage.
And I look at not just what y'all was asking as far as Q&As and what he was unleashing. I started thinking about other things while he was talking, other people who's gone through it. I thought about Taraji Henson for a minute because, she's on that hype of, damn, my whole career, I didn't get a franchise opportunity. And I'm thinking like she's been on hella movies, right?
Won
But when she
awards.
says franchise, she's talking about something like a Matrix that
Yeah,
took off and it exploded or whatever the case may be, because you got to think about it. He mentioned again residuals. People who bank off that shit will get paid forever off of that,
hmm
like that, off that, trilogy or whatever it is that you call it. If you hit it right and it's marketed the way it's marketed, you're going to get
it's
paid
only a
forever.
handful of those where it's doing sequels and trilogies that actually went on. It's only You can only name a few
Yeah.
of them that
I mean,
actually had that type.
Macaulay Culkin didn't need to do nothing forever.
Right.
He's good. You know what I'm saying? There's a list on list on list. And I'm talking about like recent shit. If you go back, you know what I'm saying, like maybe the 90s, a little bit of the 80s, going in the 70s, not as much in terms of like royalties and shit like that. But I'm talking about some of these massive blockbusters over the last 25 to 30 years. I
Hmm.
mean, if you was the star on it or co-star or an important integral part of it, you're paid. You're paid. But in his case, I feel bad. I mean, honestly, to be real, I feel bad for his situation because I felt like he was right there. And he mentioned it with Panther, right? He was right there. He was the star in Panther. He came to the
When I think
Matrix.
of UEP, I think of him.
Yeah.
yep,
Played such a good role of it that when you,
Yeah.
if you, for at least for me, when I think of UEP Newton, he comes to mind. And I've seen probably every movie made about UEP Newton. So it's funny that when I think about the movies made, it's his that actually sticks out.
Hmm.
yeah. I mean, dude, that I think when he was talking about, they were humiliating him. Here we go with like, I don't want to say it was a humiliation ritual, but some would say that. But maybe because Panther came out before that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that
Panther might have came out when we was in the military, bro.
right. So I think they might have got him because of that role.
But the blackballing was literally on set
Yeah.
during his run. So Where did
Right.
it break down? I don't know. He mentioned something about his agent and they had issues or whatever the case may be. But I'm gonna keep it a buck as well. Like I feel like whoever his agent was didn't work his ass off for him though, in my opinion, based on how it all went down. Like I don't think his handlers or
we know
people
the
around
people
him
that
didn't.
that did that was pretty grimy. Look, I mean, shit. And Sophia Stewart was trying to get her bread from them. They got
Them
sued.
studios, bro. Them
Well,
studios.
they was grimy, so they might have just really did have that much of a problem. Because even I was even like I said, I was looking up stuff while we was listening to it, and apparently they even played him. I guess he said you know, said he played on Little House on the Prairie, right? Well, I guess he didn't have a trailer originally, so they brought that trailer from that old show and slapped it
That's
on
fucked
set
up.
for him to like humiliate him.
That's
Mm-hmm.
fucked up.
Like
Yeah.
that's pretty foul. Like you
That's
going there
fucked up.
to do that.
That's
You know what I'm
fucked up.
saying? I'm like, wow, because he said he didn't have a trailer. But like I said, I looked him up, and like I said, it would have been cool. I wish I had thought about it before and seen if it was other little videos out of that of later videos that we probably could have played. But it is what it is.
Well, the question V and the if you could read off this one, because I mean they hit a massive question in terms of something that we could answer. So go ahead, bro.
I guess it's Mamby. I'm gonna say Mamby Simo. How much blowback do you all think there would be if prominent black actors started working with only black production companies? It wouldn't go nowhere because we ain't got enough. You'd get one movie a year, if that.
That's some serious blowback, and I agree with you. And one thing that comes to mind when I think of blowback, if y'all remember back in the day where we had black days on stations like UPN, Fox, then one day I believe it was the Sinclair Network. The CEO said there was too much black programming on, and then he said if we don't cut back on black programming, he's going to start cutting shows off at stations, and then all of a sudden it went away.
If we did the interview to him again, that would have been one of my questions because, like I said,
Right.
you've seen a big decrease in black TV shows or black movies.
Yeah.
But see, here's the thing with that. Black networks like what was it, UPN or whatever it wasn't ran by us. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't. They just gave an opportunity to us, right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't ran by us. And I heard so many foul things in the end, like Malcolm and Eddie. I didn't know there was friction between both of them. Like
I
they
could
didn't
see
like
that,
each
though.
other.
I could see that.
They didn't like
I
they
could
didn't
see
like each
that.
other. God rest his soul. Malcolm Jamal Warner, he was quoted this on the Breakfast Club, so I'm not misphrasing it at all. But he was like, he came in literally thinking, because you gotta think about it. He was on the Cosby Show, #1 show, NBC, blah blah blah. He had it up to here. He went over there and he was there, right?
Right.
So he started pitching ideas and shit like that as far as trying to make it, level it up. But they was like, nah, you gonna just dance, do what we say and shit like that.
Let me
That's
play
it.
devil's advocate on that one because let's be real. Let's be real, Theo. Cut it out.
He said, Theo,
cut it out, Theo. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, I can see. Come on, he on set with Eddie Griffin. I got a few ideas. Man, that was he on set with Eddie Griffin. What the fuck are you bringing to this shit that we want to see that Eddie don't like? Man, we
I get it, but
Eddie
but you know what's funny though, y'all? During that run, like, and they were on like I want to say maybe 3-4 seasons, whatever. But during that run, they did not like each other. That is crazy.
I can believe
But you
that.
know what? But you know what? Based on like situation comedies and movies and stuff like that, you could tell who got instant chemistry. They get along. They probably get along off screen, whatever. I never felt the connection with Malcolm and Eddie, and maybe that was why. But it's a trip how they
wouldn't
played
even
this.
put them together. Like, how in the fuck? Who put them together?
It was
I don't even see
It was
them
the
together.
legit.
Like, come on,
But see,
Eddie
they was
Griffin
trying to
and Theo.
do it like an odd couple type thing, right? Like
Oh,
they was trying to do
very
it like
much
that.
so. Yeah, I can see that.
But you know the old sitcom The Odd Couple, right? You remember that shit? It was different. They tried to go that route.
But remember, like I said, if you know anything about Good Time, didn't nobody like JJ punk ass. They didn't fuck with JJ. And if you know JJ now, you can see why.
What? I did not
But
know
you gotta
that.
also, okay, to add on to that, V, how can you not, like, Jimmy Walker on set? And again, y'all can go back to archives and check it out. That motherfucker never had any kind of relationship with Esther Roll, with John Amos. He never
He
did.
did an interview where
Never
he said
did.
they never spoke to him. Ever.
Never.
Like
Wow.
that's
Ever.
so like they thought he was one of them, and he was. He's
How
one
is
of them.
that
Yes, sir,
even?
boss.
How is that
And,
even a thing?
and so if you get a black power person that's forced to work with a dude like that, oh, it's gonna be mad tension. Mad, they're gonna be disgusted with him.
Because you know, you go back into those
Well, so
situations or whatever. John Amos, God rest his soul, or whatever. He wanted more creative control. He wanted to do what he needed to do. They didn't like it. They killed him off. Esther Roll,
that's right.
volleyball back and forth until she finally got back after specific things was said and or done, and even came with pay as well. We're not going to do that. You go back to Sanford and Son. There was a stretch. Red Fox was off the show. Why? Because
That's
they was
right.
negotiating. Damon Wilson, God rest his soul. I remember interviewing him in 2011, and he has it in his book where he talked about there was so much friction within for creative control because they felt they were losing themselves within the process, right? So that shit, it fucks up your creative control. And plus, if you know what, if you the star of the show and you're not getting paid, how it's gonna be hard to try to re-up that. I'm going backwards again. Gary Coleman, God rest his soul. He was off for a stretch as well because his parents, even though they controlled his shit, they wanted him off the show for a stretch so they can re-up. If you go through the list, it's been like this for a long ass time. It's not
That's
just
right.
one time. It's not just different strokes. It's all of them. And then you have to ask the question why. So to answer this, if the prominent black actor started, I mean, they tried to do that with Tyler Perry. They tried to make him the Messiah and shit like that. It's not working. It's not.
We don't have
It's
enough.
not.
We don't have enough
We don't have
institutional
enough
power.
resources to do that.
Yeah, it comes amount of. Do y'all remember Hollywood Shuffle?
Yeah.
And in the scene where it either was Townsend, and it was like, well, can you act black? And then it was like, I am no, but can you act more black? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember that.
yeah, and that was a testament to the environment that they were set in, where they were tight. They were forced these stereotypes upon them to reflect a narrative, and not to say that that's the only thing. It's just an example of the institutional power they have, which means that if we're gonna have art imitate life and show that you're not equal to us or you're beneath us and all that kind of stuff like that, then the pay will reflect that. Look at Alfred Woodard, where she said, you say that I'm the black Meryl Streep, but you ain't giving me Meryl Streep money.
I remember watching an interview with one of the dudes from Jackass was interviewing Flavor Flav, and Flavor Flav had a couple hit shows, and he was asking him, he was like, "Oh, you didn't get this, you didn't get that," and he was like, "Damn, really?" Because old boy got way more money than Flav, and Flav had like 2 or 3 consecutive hit shows. Right. And I'm like, "Are you see it?" He was just like running off stuff like, "Well, did you? I know you got this, and what about that?" Like, damn, you didn't get that. That's why he got so much money now.
Hey, you also got to see what Flavor Flav was the networks he was on.
That's what I was gonna say. Jackass, MTV, right?
Those they only
cheap
had
ass. We should know VH1 and MTV. They cheap, man. They used to come to us.
Very much so.
We
interviewed all these reality show chicks. I don't know if they ever told y'all, but they broke down what they got, and some of them got, a nice meal for a few days, and it was it. Like they kept moving. Like that's it.
That's what's bananas.
But Jackass was on MTV, right?
It wasn't until what's them dudes? What's that one little show that they started getting paid? The little with the corny ass. Fuck is that show?
Reality show?
Hamptons or something. Where they was in the Hamptons or some shit like that. It was a white reality show, and they started. That was the first ones to start getting paid because they had a huge show.
ABC.
I can't remember what they call, but I guess one of them is a DJ now, like a popular DJ.
Oh, the Surreal Life, not Surreal Life.
No, you're talking about like Polly Paul and all them.
Yes,
the Titans.
Yeah.
What is that show called? They were
Jersey,
the first
Jersey,
ones
Jersey
Snooki and
Shore,
all them. I know all the people are Snooki and
Jersey, Jersey
Jersey,
Yeah.
Shore.
Jersey Shore, Jersey
Jersey
Shore,
Shore.
They were
Jersey
the
Shore.
first
Hey.
ones to start getting paid. Wasn't nobody getting paid till they start getting paid.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, even when we be having chopping it up about paying on podcasts, bruh, it's too much money involved for you to say it never. Way too much money involved. Like I said, if you getting Aiden Ross money, man, you better quit playing with me.
Mhm.
You better quit playing with me if I come on that show. Me, goddamn it, I want something right now.
Mhm.
Yeah, I ain't trying to do it. Shit, man, come on, man. You can tell me $100 or something. Shit.
You said that we don't have enough black production companies, but we have the talent to create some if
We got the
we did
talent,
what
but
we
having
did.
the money and push the network to push something like a major movie.
We
Like,
don't have the infrastructure.
yeah, we don't have that.
But
It's
why though?
like one or
Why?
two people. Because we're not getting the money that they getting. They able to do stuff like that because they getting stupid money off our talent.
They had 80 years of being having a leg up
You
in
getting
the
pennies off
system.
the dollar of your money.
Right.
It's hard to go try to build something that's gonna rival Virgin Records or whatever. You know what I'm saying? When you getting $80,000 a rip a year, a couple $100,000 a year, and he over there off the same thing getting 50 million a year. This is what he able to do and what you're able to do, two totally different things.
Fellas, we spent a little bit of time talking about, where Marcus Chong said it, with Lil Richard.
Jersey Shore.
He
They said
created
it in the
he created rock and roll. He got, he had to go backwards later to get paid for his contributions to, I mean, rock and roll was created by us, country was created by us, hip hop clearly created by us.
Blues.
We laid down blues created by us, but we don't have the necessary opportunity to say, you know what, we could eat off that forever.
Mhm.
We've been getting ripped off since forever. Like, you name it, in every section of what we have either lived in and or our generations in the past have lived in.
Right.
Invented shit, did shit, somebody else stole credit, or whatever the case may be. It goes on for every single layer of
Yep.
our history. So
Every
the real
genre.
question is, I get it if we say we don't have the infrastructure, but we have enough. We have enough to be able to start building it. But why do we still go to the other people to seek validation? Though that's a real question.
That I don't know,
When-
and
when
I'm
you-
starting to wonder if it ain't some other stuff that we don't know that's going on. Because some of these bigger podcasts that have us on it, the people that be on some of these podcasts or have their own podcasts, and it's nowhere near as many people, and they are the reasons why we go to these other ones, and they have millions, and it's like I'm starting to wonder if it's all real.
It's
Because if
not.
you can't,
It's
yeah,
not.
like I said, some of these people, like I said, I'll see something like No Jumper, and I'll be like, well, if they do a live show, it ain't nothing but a couple thousand, but you got millions of followers. When you see Poet Flacco would do something, it's about 70,000. He did probably the most productive when it comes to numbers outside of anybody on there.
Okay.
And nobody wants to see him, and he does the most. So I'm thinking they know
Okay.
something everybody else don't know.
Okay, here's something to think about though. So I see where you're going with this, but also one thing to not counteract that, but to add on to it, they might be seen more because they're probably spending a little bit more money than us to be able to level it up, I guess, to a degree. And they're getting into the right infrastructure on how that shit's laid out in terms of marketing, in terms of having their face elsewhere or whatever
Either
the case may
way,
be.
it's still something
It
we
might
don't
be
know.
that.
It
But
has to be. Has to be. The numbers don't make sense.
Nah,
It-
not to me, because to me, I always look at it like this: like, there's so many. We've seen it though. We've seen it. We've heard it, not just from music, but from entertainment. Everything that was built up. Inventors. We don't talk enough about black inventors as well. You know how all of that shit changed. Some people tried to steal it. Some people tried to steal our DNA as well. Y'all know the story. Go back in history and see how that shit was attempted, not attempted, but was out and out stolen.
Mhm.
Bone marrow, DNA, all that shit.
I could agree
But
with
we
that.
don't get what we get, right? Which is weird as fuck to me. And the question in the chat was like, what will it take to stop having things stolen? I
I
don't
don't
know.
know because they writing the playbook.
I'm gonna say, hey, until we get the infrastructure, I'm gonna just keep on saying it because I lean on that. How we get it, that's debatable. What we need to do to get it, that's debatable. But if you don't have keys to the castle, you ain't the king. That's just how shit works, you know. And it's unfortunate, but when you have studios who have been running this machine to the point where they had actors in the very beginning in contractual slavery, where they didn't have any autonomous rights to their own bodies, then that's a high hurdle to jump.
Yeah.
To say that, well, we can do this, but you know, there's layers too, where maybe we don't have the knowledge base, we don't have the education.
I agree.
But we have the resources, and will that allow us to evolve more into the business side of things? And then that's how I feel what a personal responsibility should come in, because we all know that there's a problem. You know,
I think we have all that, man. I think we have all that, and we still go to the other people. That's what I think.
I think that's an ingredient. I don't think that's the only ingredient, but I think that's a factor.
Yeah, I feel you on that because it's the norm, so they feel safe. They feel secure.
Yeah,
that's not safe when you're complaining all the goddamn time.
I know, but
we also have to be careful about who's complaining, because it ain't all of us that's complaining. Because sometimes I think that we throw those out there. Well, we all complaining when we all clearly all of us right now ain't on the same page of how to go about it. Because that is right. Is arguable how you're gonna go about things. Because some people, to be honest, like I said, if it's a way, if you telling me to go a way that I'm not good at, like I said, we got roles even with this. Mm-hmm. If you ask me to do certain things, that ain't gonna get me to where I need to be, because that ain't my thing. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But if you get me to do my thing, if you can get me on the right track of doing my thing, that's where I'm gonna get the most growth. And I think that's where people have a hard time. You might have all the resources, you don't know which pieces to put where and how to put those pieces in order, because you got to have that too. If you got a puzzle on the ground, you still got to put that puzzle together. You got all the pieces there, but you got to figure out how to put those pieces together.
And that's why I agree with Brandon with that.
Brandon, V, hold on real quick. V, you're self-aware though. You know that. You play that role though.
It took a while though.
You mentioned true, but let's just say the 1%ers ain't gonna, they're good. They're not gonna complain for shit. There might be out of that, not that 1%, but the 99% of us, let's just say half of them is gonna compartmentalize it. They're just gonna be, all right, fuck it. It is what it is. But the other half is like us. Like, we're acknowledging that. We're self-aware. We're probably lightweight complaining, or we're trying to find solutions or something like that to a problem that's been going on for decades and shit like that. So it depends on how each one takes this shit. But there's a point in time where it's just kind of like, man, this shit was going on since 1950. When are we going to stop this shit?
That is because too many people think that they have the answer, because you get the same solutions whenever you hear about, well, we just got to unify. I agree. But there's more to that story.
Yes, it's deeper.
Unify under what? You know what I'm saying? And who's going to do the certain part? Somebody got to be the sergeant at arms at the meeting. Somebody got to be the treasurer of the meeting. And you got to know your roles, and everybody want to be the CEO. Yeah. Nobody wants to be the guy that hold the doorman that everybody knows. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to be the doorman that is still in the game, still get to see the show with everybody else. He just ain't as important. But that's your role, bruh. Because that's where you at. You don't know how to do shit else. But guess what? Usually that person will be the most conniving that'll have the bread. Yeah. And they want to lead when it's like, dude, you go get talent, bro. You are not the talent. Go get the talent and pay the talent appropriately, and they won't leave. They would rather pay them like pennies and control them instead of going, you know what, even if you do leave, let me go ahead and pay you what you're supposed to be. And maybe when you go over there, you go, you know how I got started? I got started over here, and I still rock with them, and we still got a relationship. Instead, we'll sever a relationship because, well, he ain't give me no credit, and if it wasn't for me, he would have never did this. Well, maybe he wouldn't have done that. It would have just been somebody later. You think that if it wasn't for whoever the manager was that heard Prince first, you think that he was going to be, it was going to be every other A&R going? No, I just don't see it. Hell no. Somebody was going to go, who passed you up? He was a fool.
Yeah.
So everybody gotta know their role, man. And I swear, bro, people do not like playing that backseat role if they think for a second they can run the show.
Too many chefs in the kitchen.
We got some people got to go ahead and say, you know what, I'll bite the bullet.
Hey,
too many hands in the hen house.
So earlier, Brandon, when I said secure, I really meant comfort. It was more comfort for them because it's what they were.
But you're right about security, though. They're secure in whatever it is that's going on. They're secure knowing that if I need to lean to the left, it's right there. They're comfortable too, but they're also secure in that comfort, though. Just basically knowing that is there. They don't want to be uncomfortable. Like I'm not looking for like the next Martin Luther King or the Malcolm X and shit like that. Like, I hope everybody can rally as a unit and figure out how to be able to, like, everybody has, like V said, everybody has a role that they play. And you have to understand what that role is and go from there. And if you want to be the best at your role, that means you got to commit to it. If you want to commit to it, that means you might have to sacrifice. And some people at this point in time, right now, at this day and age, don't want to sacrifice. And whatever that sacrifice looks like, I don't know what that looks like. But
and that's every level.
I think that we've been led to believe in life that we're not supposed to have downs or not supposed to have hard times. And as long as you do good and be right, everything is supposed to be good and right. I don't believe that that's how life is supposed to be. I don't care how good you are. I don't care how hard working you are. You still gonna have bad days. You still gonna make drastic mistakes that just set you back months, years, who knows how long it might set you back. These things actually happen, and how we maneuver through those things is what life is to me.
Facts.
You're not gonna ever get it to where, well, I gotta wait to the best time to do it. There's no real best time.
None.
Tell it. This thing is that it's a better time, but there's no best time.
Right.
Any one of us, the four of us, went through hell and back in their own journey with whatever it is that they tried to deal with, overcome, whatever. We all been through it. The people out there been through that shit. But nobody can sit there and say they shit was pristine and we,
and you gotta be able to,
like, nobody.
You also gotta be able to respect other people's journey too. Everybody's not gonna get there at the same time, and that's another problem. I hate when a person finally make it and then they turn right around. Well, I don't understand if I can make it. Why you can't?
But you know what?
I hate a person like that.
Hey,
you say to them, I go, I bet you play basketball real good, but your black ass ain't fucking in the NBA.
Yeah,
you didn't do that. You know what? Keep working on that. It pay more than that chicken stack you got.
Here's the thing, and I get what you're saying. I feel like I used to be that way. Like, I used to be like, hey, I just jumped this hurdle. I want y'all to do it. Let's go do it. Let's do it together. Shit like that. But you know what I realized later in life is like you said, not everybody's going to run that same race. So there's other ways you could be able to root for him or her. There's other ways you could be able to add value to it.
And we don't respect that.
Not everybody is going to, fit in my shoes, just like I'm not going to be able to fit in y'all's. But the best thing you could do is, you know what? Be patient with the process, especially if somebody's out there trying.
That's right.
You may not try on my level, but you're trying, and that's okay. That's okay.
Hey, you want to read that other comment, and then we just go into the second set or the third segment?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what it says here. I'm gonna show it. Oh, there we go. I agree. Too many people want to be the guy. There's nothing wrong with being the guy next to the guy, which is true.
With Draymond Green code.
And let me say this, and this is an evolution that I have to do with myself, right? And one thing that I learned about being at my old job, a supervisor, right, is that if you don't respect the person who's standing beside you, they're going to undermine you. And what I mean is this, is that people have their own level of expertise in what they do. And you have to know when it's time for you to be the boss or it's time for him to be the boss, even if you've got a boss title on your shoulder.
Yeah.
And even with my younger brother, right? My younger brother has expertise in things that I don't have. I'm more of a technical guy. He's hands in the mud type of guy, right? But the first thing I say to him is, hey, this your show. I must do whatever you tell me to do. Because I know when it comes to that, I can't stand next to him. I got to let him run it because he's the expert of that. And then when it's time for me to be the boss, then I'm going to be the boss.
You know how many
But
people can't allow that to happen?
they can't.
They most say you the bigger brother, but your house bigger, you most successful. You can under no circumstances let him lead when he's the expert at certain things.
Exactly.
It's too many people that will still try to take the lead.
They take it personal.
Because they take it personal. I'm like, just let them run it. Because even when I hear that some of these red pillars be talking about, oh, you can't have your girl do that. Man, if your girl is better with finances, let her run the finances, though.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
If she better at organizing the parties, man, get out the way.
I would take it back.
And if your man better in the kitchen,
let him cook.
Let him cook.
Literally.
Let him cook.
Hey, we're about to tee up another clip from a classic Marcus Chong on Truth Awoke Conspiracy Theory. I appreciate the comments and all the people out there that's going to run this back. I'm telling you, just continue to soak up this game. Whenever you're ready, BMO, run it.
It seems to be like you have to have a skill of being able to choose the people around you. Your manager, your agents. I think that it seems like that's a real skill. That if you can find those people that really vibe with you and know exactly what you want, but without you even saying it, probably would help you along. It seems to be.
That's really well said, brother. I'm gonna tell you, man. That's a really bright way to put it, because you do have to actually have a skill kind of at it, and a lot of good fortune as well. I mean, you have to meet the right person. So.
Yeah, because dealing with, a little bit I've dealt with the music business. You run into a lot of people that'll say they know somebody or they get you somewhere, and they really can't. But the way I look at it, I take it like this. I'm going to learn something from everybody that I meet that does or is trying to do what I'm trying to do, because if I don't learn the good thing of learning how to do something from somebody, I'm also going to learn what not to do. Because one thing I do with coaching, I learned how to coach based on coaches that coached me that I felt like sucked. So I knew exactly what not to do.
Yeah, that's really well said, because I kind of work the same way. Like if I'm working on something, if a guy on the street sees me doing an acting scene and he goes, "Well, I saw what you did. I think it was really good. You should try this." I actually will take that input and consider it. I may not do it if it doesn't really work, but I think that we all learn from each other, and I think that is the answer for us as a community of artists, is to get together and begin to support each other, because what the studios are doing is separating the artists so that the artist is all by themselves. There is no unity in actors. Actors are cutthroat individuals because they've been put against their backs against the wall. Once we have unity and power, and that's why brothers like Spike Lee have made such impacts, and John Singleton, because they actually have an understanding of how to unify and represent the community. Once we get out of the me thing and we can be a we thing, then we're going to make great steps, because we don't have any unions. The unions are run by the mobsters. We don't have power. We are just being used as images.
That's along the lines of the question that I was about to ask you, because you see on TV how Bill Cosby will come out and he'll say, well, as a young black people, we should be doing this, and he might not like how rap is going or things like that, but he's in the entertainment field. He's an actor. So when I hear things like what you're telling me about, what is people like Bill Cosby, Sidney Poitier, and these people doing to unify brothers like yourself that's younger than them, and the up and coming, the Mekhi Phifers, and all these guys, to make sure that doesn't happen, because it doesn't seem like they're doing that, but they keep telling us about what we should.
Yeah, that's a brilliant insight you have. What's your name?
V.
That's a brilliant insight. I'm gonna tell you, a cat like Bill Cosby, who was a frontiersman, basically, he's been so beat up over the years on certain levels that he may not have the ability to unify to the younger generation, because they might look at him as corny or a sellout because of this, that, and that. But let me tell you, man, it ain't a coincidence that they killed Mr. Cosby's son on the side of the freeway. I don't know if everybody remembers that, but his son was killed in a drive-by on the freeway, and to me, that's not realistic. It's like that was a little bit of a, somebody was fucking with Mr. Cosby, in my opinion. My small little opinion. I don't know what motivates him to not be able to do what he has to do or to not do, but I think it's up to the young. I think it's up to us to say, we built this for you, Mr. Cosby. We built this for you, Mr. Poitier. We want to invite you to this thing. We don't have nothing to invite them to. We're the ones that should be actually thankful that they paved the way for artists, and we need to give something back to them. They might be exhausted after all these years of taking.
Not only exhausted, he sounds bitter. But Crosby sounds very bitter. If you listen to him talking to the young people, he sounds extremely bitter. That's what I get from him. And maybe there's a long line of stuff said about him getting his son killed and stuff, but he sounds extremely bitter to me. And he don't sound like, and like say, along the lines of exhaustion. So you might have some say about that in terms of being right about that, because that's what I get.
I don't know Mr. Cosby, so I can't really speak. I'm just talking about as a whole overall thing. It's difficult. It's difficult to judge. I know that the young rappers who are acting in the film industry, they're using their marketability to get acting jobs, when really, if they went on that same audition, would they get that acting job? And what they're doing is they don't need the money, so the studios can come in and say, well, you can do this role for cheap because you're selling so many records. And then what we do as so divided, now actors are out of work because rappers are taking their jobs. So it's a lot of stuff that we got to talk about, and there's going to be bitterness. Black folks might be bitter, and you know what? We got to still be open armed to them and say, I understand your pain. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Hey, just real quick, man. I understand what you're talking about, and basically, I know that Bill Cosby kind of comes off, to the younger generation. He may come off like, kind of condescending. You know what I'm saying? Especially when he was really bashing, the young people about, taking care of their kids and the whole school thing and stuff like that, which is all stuff that it was all true to me. You know what I'm saying? It really was true. But, when you have that gap of kids that, have not being raised with, any fathers, or any role models or whatever, then they really don't understand, how he's coming at them. You know what I'm saying? So,
but it sounds like almost like he's coming condescending. That's what he's right. He sounds like he's almost condescending. And whether he's not to mean that or not, I'm sure he's probably not meaning that, but that's the way he comes off. That's the way.
See, that's really well said, man, because it's the way that they're portraying him. I'm certain if you met Mr. Cosby and sat down with him, he would give you the time, though, and be like, yo, man, I don't know what to do, and sometimes I'm even put in a position where I might say some shit that's not appropriate, but his intentions might be good. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm sure it is. I'm not questioning his intent. I'm sure it's very honorable. I'm sure that. But it's still, like you said, but you said about image. It's the way it's portrayed, like he portrays it. It has nothing to do with the media portraying this. He himself is doing. It's what he himself is doing.
I agree, but, it's like, well, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing as the youth? It takes the youth to make a renaissance. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's old, man. He's broken. You know what I'm saying? Like, he might have money, but money don't mean nothing, really, because we all going to die broke.
Right.
And he might make mistakes because people make mistakes. But, at least he's trying to say something. At least he's trying to talk. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to say, hey, man, don't do this, whatever, because he's trying to be that guy. I'm not that guy. I don't know what's best for nobody. I just know that.
Here we go on CCT, man. This is we got Marcus Chong on. We got V on the line. We got Wayne on the line.
Man.
Excuse me, but wait to the next one though.
Oh yeah. I finally got some talking in. I was like, damn, was I on that damn interview?
Man, that part it triggered me because I can remember how I felt before the storm hit.
Oh, the buildup was real.
The buildup was real. And Joe, bless his heart, Joe came, and maybe he just had that tone, but Joe came like he was ready for something. I don't know if he had a bad day. I don't know if he didn't get his chicken sandwich and damn Chick-fil-A was closed, but he was ready for something. But go ahead, I
He has a
digress.
condescending voice.
Exactly. That's why I love him, man.
I think as we get ready to talk about what's coming up, I also want to mention because he mentioned it in the other segment, but I put it in the private chat because I felt I needed to remember to talk about it. But he mentioned the Actors Guild, the place, the union, the place
Mhm.
where it's supposed to be an actor's sanctuary in terms of leaning on um, discussing, talking about, equality and things like that ain't shit. It ain't shit because it's kind of like, let's just put it in terms of the NFL commissioner gets paid by the NFL owners, right? But the NFL commissioner is supposed to be pro not just the league but also the players. I mean, I know they have the players association as well, but the commissioner still kind of upholds the law. But who pays the commissioner? NFL owners. Um,
And that's
Actors
what
Guild is in that same lane as well. Like, they can complain all day to the guild, to the union, but the union knows who pays them. They know what time it is. So I mean, saying that is to say this. You're not gonna get the support that you have. You can go back again decades, years on in. You're not gonna see the union really push for the actors like that at all. I've never heard it. I don't know about you guys.
I ain't heard it neither.
Well,
Yeah.
I haven't been too deep in the soup to know that, but I will feel that there's always breaking points. And if they're met, maybe they'll get something. But, it's to prove it's in the pudding. How long will they choose to suffer until they do something about it? You wait till you get your arm cut off, your leg, lose a toe, or you going to be on the corner because you can't get work because you've been blackballed. I agree with Marcus when he said, the actors are more or less conditioned to be individuals and not be a group. And a lot of us, just from the human condition, a lot of us in this country, we don't worry about things until it's at our front door. It don't matter until we hurt.
Yep.
So who's to say that that doesn't exist in the actors realm? Because they're human, just like everybody else. But hey, they got to get a clue. And I ain't saying they don't have a clue, but they can do more without having everybody feeling hurt. And I don't know how that can come about, but like Brandon said, they have what they need. If they can do it on a smaller scale and build up. Look at Tyler Perry. He started from nothing, and he may not be 100%, but he's up that ladder way further than the average person in his field.
About that real quick.
Go ahead.
Like a lot of people rallied behind him and then they stopped, and then they started again and they stopped.
Different
Very
story.
for a
You
lot of
can have
different
it,
reasons.
right?
The world may be a fan of Tyler Perry and how he does business, but there's a lot, and maybe it's divided. Like I said, I'm spitballing, but also from what I've
Complications.
heard,
They're
from what I've
complicated.
heard, it's 50-50 in terms of like, what will we stand behind him because of, certain other things. But I don't know. But also I'm at this point before we continue on and we, get to what really the world probably would like to hear. But I'm gonna say this. I just think, we live in a very, like you mentioned, be more reactionary world where we're gonna wait till the shoe drops in
Mhm.
order for change to either start talk coming from out of our souls or whatever the case may be. And that shit's got to change. It's got to change. I mean, and I'm not talking about change in the sense of, what, let's all just get together and start doing. No, it's an individual thing that you want to do. If you want to do it, you got to look right here first. All right, I'm gonna go fix myself. How do I need to go fix myself? I need to know what I'm good at and what I'm bad at and what I can
Mhm.
get better at. And I think that's what's missing in terms of. And I always feel like this. We've heard for years and decades of people complaining about the same shit. When are you going to break this fucking barrier and figure out what it is that you need to do or we need to do so we can not only build up but build better, so we won't have to talk about this shit no more. Settling for shit should be outdated now. Like, we talked about old shows that we've had before. It was like, I can't work for another motherfucking person because I don't want to succumb to their 9 to 5s and shit like that or whatever. That means you're self-aware and you're determined to be like, fuck that, I'm not doing that. But some people settle. They're like, you know what? I'm good. I'm gonna just go ahead and take this 9 to 5 because that's all I know and that's all I'm gonna do. But then still complain. Fuck out of
That's a
here with that
serious
shit.
hurdle to jump over, though, man. Serious
But
hurdle to jump over.
but what is it gonna take then to stop complaining? If you want to just do your 9 to 5 and complain, you're gonna settle for that. But then complaining or whatever it is coming out your mouth is going, man, you just saying the same shit, but not going to change. You get what I'm saying? Because if I was complaining like that, though, I'm literally gonna find a way to get the fuck out of this situation that I'm in,
But
so
you
I
also
could
got to have
change.
a skill that allows you to do that, though.
True. So if you're complaining, or all right, you're in a 9 to 5, but you're still complaining about wanting to be an actor or a business person or whatever, find what the fuck you got to do. We got too many resources out there for you to get gamed up on that shit, so you can go do what you got to do. But I'm not
You
gonna
think it's
complain about it every
you
goddamn
think it's
time.
I would say it's probably more people that's regular people that feel like they are doing what they're supposed to do and working a 9 to 5. I don't really think it is people that want to work to start businesses think like that. If you got any kind of inkling of wanting to start a business, you probably don't think like that. If you've never wanted to start a business, I can see you having that type of mentality. And if you have that mentality, well, that's not a mentality. That's the truth. Everybody don't have a talent that's going to take them to the
True.
next level or have the ability to run a business. Everybody's not capable of doing that. It takes us that actually do that to change things for them.
Right.
They're not capable of changing it. It's those that can do that have to do it for others also. We have to be more empathetic. You have to be able to go, that person who can't run the race, I got to run the race for him too.
That's right.
But also the person who can't run the race, depending on their happiness level, if they're okay, let's go here. 9 to 5, but they got a pension. They're just gonna work to, they're able to retire pension. That's a goal. They have a goal. They're stuck there. They want to be stuck there. They want to get that pension. But the ones who got a 9 to 5, no pension, but it's just complaining about just life. I want to do better. I want to do more.
But
That's
look
when
at
you
that.
gotta have that look to
I
ask
agree, but
what is better to you? What does better look like to you? What do you want to do for you so you can level up and be more than if that's what you want to be?
but most things that change in life, like I said, even like let's say civil rights, it wasn't a masses that did that. It was a group of people did that.
True.
It wasn't that democracy didn't start with
It was enough people.
5 million of us got together and said, let's do this thing called democracy. It was a handful of them that did that and brought it to everybody else, and everybody else bought into it. It takes those who actually do that type of thing, has to make that blanket move for the rest of us. And there's so many of us that have individual thinking. We don't think like that. That's why you don't see no movement.
Right.
Have to think like that. Martin Luther King, he had to sacrifice time with his family. He has to have a wife that understands that in order to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get to do that and keep a family life. You don't get to be the leader of a country and have a family life. You don't get to do that. You don't get to be. It's certain things that you got to sacrifice that the average person cannot sacrifice. That's why
if that was a sacrifice, like a Dr. King, or let's just say President of the United States, that was their agenda to become one. Just like Martin Luther King was his agenda to.
And it's only a handful of us that
reach
could
out
do
there.
that.
True,
That's what I'm
but
saying.
he and they, whoever it is, self-sacrificed. They did. Family, they got together. You know what? This is my goal. This is what I want to do. Are you with me? And they sacrificed themselves as well. Wife, kids, family, whatever. They all took it to that next level because it was a collective agreement to like, hey, we're dug in now. I want you to be the president of the United States or the civil rights advocate, and you're going to do this, and we're going to support you. We're going to have the signs. We're going to do a crowd. We're going to do what we got to do. But they were all dug in because that was the goal.
I disagree. I don't believe that everybody was always dug in. You even see it in the election. There's never been a president elected where majority of all people voted and put this and moved this agenda forward. It's never going to be that way because it's going to be some that really wanted to vote, but they had to work. There's some that really wanted to vote, but they were sick.
No, I get that. But I'm
really
talking about.
vote.
But I'm talking about to become president. If you want to become president, then that means that is a ticket that you want to fuck with. That is that next level. So that means the wife, soon to be wife, family, kids, whatever the case may be, we got to rally. We got to make sure that we are dug in so you can be able to do what needs to be done in order for you to become that. When Dr. King was marching, doing his thing, speeches and all, his family, his wife, whoever was supporting him in that journey dug in. They bought into what the goal was, and they
even saying that during the civil rights era, when you saw those marches, you think that was most of us that was in that march?
Nah.
We talking about maybe 1% of us.
But for the individual who
and really took them water hoses and them dog bites to change things, the masses. Right. It was only a handful.
Which we call then obstacles, right? Like there was hella obstacles, just like there's obstacles that everybody's facing. But I think the biggest picture when you look at the overall scope of who in their right mind wants to do more for themselves, that's when you got to have an honest question about where you want to be in life or whatever. So that's getting out of your shell and becoming more. Like I said, I have no hate on this planet for the 9-to-5 people who want to stay 9-to-5 because they have an agenda. Like I mentioned, pension, whatever else. But the other ones who are complaining while they're doing it, what else do you want to do then? Stop complaining and find out what your solution is and go there so you could stop complaining. That's my whole thing. Like,
I mean, I get it. I understand why people say that, but has there ever been any movement in world history without the complaints? It's kind of a necessary evil, ain't it?
I feel like we've all complained and we've all but we all have a goal outside of the complaints though. We want to see certain things better. We want to see agendas move forward. Not collectively, but
I also think that we have a unrealistic ideology of how long that thing is supposed to take. Because I think that we think that we've done so much that we should be a certain place. Go look back in time and see how long it took for Rome to be Rome. It was hundreds of years. Hundreds. There's never been a great civilization made in a lifetime. So if we talk about in our lifetime, no, there's never been a great country built in a lifetime.
But also I feel like, how Rome was built and things like that is a further on complaint, not just about, something else, not just material or anything like that. I'm talking about myself. Like I'm complaining about something because I got to fix myself. I can't fix the outside world unless I figure out what the fuck I want to do. Right. So that's the complaint that I'm saying. Like, the 9-to-5ers who are complaining, not about certain little liberties and things like that. I'm talking about what the next move is. I want to be this businessman, but I'm not going to let me because they won't let me and whatever else is the case. And I'm like, bruh, come on. What do you want to do?
You don't believe that some of those obstacles are real obstacles for people?
Oh, hell yeah, 100%.
And probably a lot cheaper for them than it is for you.
Bruh, I'm going to tell you, as we black folks in here, so we got to work 10 times as hard or maybe 20 in order for us to even get a handshake somewhere.
Ain't got that 10 times as hard in us. We got 7, and they ain't going to never get there, and they realize that. What we do with them?
So if that's the case, then why complain then? If you know
what else would they do? If they still don't like it, what else are they supposed to do?
Yeah, they don't
complaining to what though?
Okay, well, this is what I'm saying. If they said right now today, everybody that can't run a 4.7 is getting exterminated. How many of us you think gonna get exterminated no matter how fucking hard we gonna try?
All right. I got to
do about them.
That's a physical limitation that some people can
whatever limitation you want to. Those limitations exist with us all. Right. If a person told you the next wave of jobs all gonna be speaking jobs, you know how many people ain't gonna never ever gonna be no fucking speaker.
Yeah, I might have an example.
Don't have it in them. No matter how hard they try.
I might have an example. Let me say this. when me and Neef, Mr. Incense, we were stationed together, right? Remember many moons ago, and we lived in the building, and Comcast came out and said, we're going to go through each person. If you have cable, we're going to charge you. Some people didn't even know they had cable or not, right? Remember that? Remember that? Yep. So you had all these cats complaining and yelling, I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to go to my supervisor. They didn't know who to talk to, right? But there happened to be a brother who had the skill set who just said, this ain't right. People don't even know they got cable. So what did I do? I waited till nightfall. I went in that box and I gave everybody in that building cable. Now, you try to charge the whole building with cable. You can't do that. And it made me think what y'all was saying. You have people that complain about it, that were just complaining. You have people that complain about it and didn't know what to do. They have people like me who heard the complaint and say, you know what? I got a little bit of skill. Let me put my neck on the line and fix it because it's wrong.
But if none of y'all had that skill, y'all still over there singing songs to each other because you ain't getting cable.
Right. And if the do-nothings wanted to complain about it, I wouldn't have known there was a problem because I ain't have cable.
And it wasn't even an issue for you. You just heard the issue and decided, I know how to fix that issue. It's a lot of us sitting around here don't know how to fix that issue. When I asked, okay, unify under what? I ain't heard the answer yet. Unify under what?
Some know, some don't, and both can be true at the same time. You have the cats out there. All they do is yell and complain, and then when they say, "Well, what are you gonna do?" Man, I'm just gonna work 8 out the gate. I got kids. Well,
I do agree that if you're not gonna be a dog in the fight, that I do agree. But I understand why they there, and like I said, they easy food for me. I can shut them down. I don't really worry about them because I can shut them down. It don't take much. When you really know what to do and you got the knowledge of something, people that's on that bullshit, you can see them quick and you can eliminate them quick. They're not they're not an obstacle to me. They're an annoyance, but they're not an obstacle.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I do nowadays when I hear them? I just walk the other way.
Yeah, I don't give them no attention because sometimes people not ready to accept what you offering.
And here's the thing about this. If you got the wrong person saying the wrong thing, it'll contaminate the whole pool. It will spoil the whole group. It'll bring them down so low that they believe that they can't do nothing about nothing. And that's the type of stuff that I try to avoid and have my people avoid, because you don't need nobody in here telling you 50 million ways shit can go wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Especially if you ain't gonna do nothing about it. Just go about your business. Why you worry about it? You chose to do nothing.
But see,
we also gotta be careful.
This is where
you going to be.
I want to self-discover and ask why. Why are you in a position where you just don't want to succeed? Like to me, I think it's always about self-discovery too. Like if somebody, it's interesting that you put like, hey, if we can't run 4-7, we're gone. And I feel like I'm gonna try. I feel like
and people gonna get that adrenaline though. Like people gonna get that adrenaline, but like he said, everybody ain't gonna make it though.
Listen, I'm gonna try to find a way to get it or do it or whatever. But if I can't do it, I promise you, hey, at least I tried. At the end of the day, if I gotta go, I gotta go. But at least I put it in. I did what I needed to do.
My thing about shooting down the people that's complaining too is because sometimes they complaining. They're the voice of the person that's real shy, that's sitting on the back. That's thinking about it, that's too afraid to say anything. That one that's always running their mouth is speaking for them too.
Right.
But that person in the back gonna have to come. He gonna come to us after the show and pull us to the side. You know, I was thinking about it. What if we do this? They're never gonna say it on this platform, but they'll pull me to the side. But if we shoot the messengers every time,
we ain't got to shoot all the messengers. We just have to be discerning with the messengers that we hear, because not everyone has good intentions.
The rest of the clan,
exactly. Because even though they have good ideas, your intentions could be to help resolve the problem, or to discourage everybody to do nothing.
That's why again, self-discovery is important. I feel like the four of us here came out of our shells in some point in our lives or whatever. Not just doing this, but just in general. Did something different, did something that we never thought we would do, interact with whoever we thought we would never interact. We have memories on memories on memories. We came out of our shells to level up and do something else. All I want to know is, like, if you're going to complain, like BMO said, V said, Instance, you said it, I believe. I just want to know what else do you want to do outside of just complaining? Because to me, if you're going to complain, I hope you can figure out you have to be self-aware. There's only so much inspiration we could do, but it's going to be up to that person to figure out what it is that switch is going to flip. Because I promise you this, the four of us had something light bulb hit. You know what? This makes sense now. I didn't know this back
But
then.
see, the thing is, you got to get those who can actually make a difference. That's the collective. That's who you need to unify with. It serves us no good to unify with the complainer. It serves us no good to unify with the introvert that's not going to really say nothing. It doesn't benefit you to unify with them because it's not going to get anywhere because y'all don't communicate well enough to make anything happen. So it's always going to be smaller groups, but you got to communicate with others to know who, what, where, and why, and what problem need to be addressed. Because there might be some people going, I know there's a lot of problems, but I don't really even know where to begin. I don't even know where to begin to even try to do that. So when we identify the problems by the complainer, then somebody nods his head like, I agree, we need to fix that. That's my problem.
You just said it though. The person who says, I don't know where to start though. That's self-awareness though. That's realizing you don't know where to start.
Yep.
That right there is a jump on period for anything. Like, okay, bet you don't know where to start. Okay, what is your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What do you feel in your mind right now that you are best at, that you want to excel and go forward?
That's where most questions get tough, and I think people get the line because they feel like they might feel ashamed that they don't even have that answer.
And you know what? That's coming from an honest place, though.
You can go through your whole life and not have that answer.
Facts.
Right.
Because I feel like I didn't hit a corner until maybe the last 10, 15 years ago, in my opinion. But back then I thought I had it together. Like I was proud enough to say, yo, I was winning, but not telling folks I was
now, how many people are like that are not doing something, that are staying quiet, that aren't moving or whatever, but also complain? They're in a good position. They're in a position where they're making some pretty damn good money. So I ain't really got a trip. But I know it can be way better than this. See, I'm that type of person that my life is straight. I really ain't got no business complaining. I get mad at people that living at least at my level and complain. It's like, my dude, if you live at least my level, you ain't got no business complaining. And I'm not doing it like that. But I know that I get up and live life on my own terms when I get up in the morning, and that's enough for me. And it might not be nowhere near enough for somebody else, but it's enough for me.
And that's so because before you read the comments,
you're not going to get me to motivate me to work 15 more hours to do something that I think gonna move the parameter an inch.
Right.
That might not be enough motivation to make me want to do that, even though I want to see his move. But man, that's a whole lot of work to move me an inch, and I need at least 3 feet. For me, you want to do it. So some of us that way.
Right.
V and BMO, before you read the comments, V, you're just comfortable in your own skin, bro. That's how most of us, if not all of us, should be. If you're comfortable like that, where you know what your limits are and how comfortable you are and how, whatever, what makes you happy is supposed to be what makes you happy. There are so many people who are complaining miserable, right? Not complaining happy or comfortable or feel like they're set and shit like that. They feel like probably, you know what? Life is unfinished. I still need something to do. So that's when you have to, again, be self-aware. You have to self-discover. You have to figure out what it is that's going to make you go forward, not just be in whatever rut you're in or just be content. Like some people are content and still not happy. Like I don't get that. Like I don't get it. But BMO, go ahead and read the comments, bro.
And after you read that, we got to get into that last segment too.
Yeah, because about being comfortable, Marcus Chong was definitely comfortable getting into the ass. I'm just gonna say that. All right. The comment. Also, for so long, you've had it instilled in you by family and by the world to just fall in line to be safe. Do what you got to do. Go to work and go home. Don't bring attention.
I agree. That's that older mentality that just doesn't work for us anymore.
I think people, it has to be a mix, because you have to understand how to navigate your environment. My grandma always had a saying, sometimes you got to lay low until you get your hands out the lion's mouth. You know what I'm saying? And that's a blend of being tactical, but tactical does not mean complacency. You have to respond when you need to respond, because at the end of the day, like Marcus Chong said, we all gonna die broke. So, are you just gonna deal with it with your dignity? Lose your dignity, or you keep your dignity intact and learn how to make moves. Being strategic is an art form, but you have to learn it in order to survive. Like I read this book by I forgot that Toure, where a lot of brothers was getting on him about why he can't say this and why you should say that. And Toure said, "Hey, I got 2 kids to feed. If I open my mouth right now, I'm gonna be in the poorhouse. How am I gonna feed my kids?" But that didn't mean that he was gonna be complacent and say, "I'm just gonna roll over and take it." You like the song said, you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and know when to run. You can't count your money while you're sitting at the table. You got time to count it when the dealing's done. And basically said, be smart on your moves, man. But you have to be as crafty as your enemy. And sometimes these people that Marcus was talking about
Way crafty.
are way crafty. So you have to learn, and like Brandon said, you got to tool yourself out. You got to educate yourself. You got to make yourself aware and give value to your actions, and that takes time, and that takes a lot of education and self growth. And that's what I think. So other than that, if y'all ready to go to the next clip or any other,
and I'll add this: you could turn something into something more if you really want that, though. So
that part. All right, we ready?
I guess.
Oh, let me stretch for this one, boy.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah. All right. Here you go.
Let me take this call real quick. What's going on? You on CTT? This is Mr. Incense. What's good with you?
Hi. Anybody talking about the New World Order or martial law?
Yeah. Hey, what's up, man? I recognize your voice. We about to get to that. I was going to ask my man some questions, man, about that here in a second, man. We were basically just getting, I don't know how long you've been on, but we got Marcus Chong, who played a vital role in The Matrix and has played in some other movies like Panther and whatnot. And he's basically just telling us how the industry has ripped him off, basically, for his artwork.
Yeah? Well, that sounds interesting. I just thought I'd just chime in because the topic seemed to be about New World Order and martial law. I just wanted to find out some information about it.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting, because what happened in like 1996 was the New World Order is kind of like you had only 6 markets that you could buy into if you were a major studio or something, and the New World Order basically opened up the markets for people or companies, corporations like Warner Brothers to buy all the markets, which is a monopoly, which is really against the law. So now you don't have independent mom and pop businesses, you have Starbucks everywhere, because the New World Order opened up the market so that the studios could monopolize, the companies and corporations could monopolize, and now you must fit into the Starbucks cookie cutter format, or you don't work. It becomes corporate. That's what this New Order is and how it affects the artists.
Who is the New World Order?
The New World Order would be the Federal Reserve Government.
So the Federal Reserve wanted all
the Federal Reserve Government is a privately owned organization where private families have trapped us by saying, we're going to give you $700 billion to fix the New Orleans quarry situation, when really they set that whole thing up. And so when you get that $700 billion, your kids, their kids, and their kids will never be able to pay that debt back, because they keep giving us these $700 billion credits, but the credit is designed that you can never pay back that $700 billion. So when Bush came out and said,
I'm not exactly following it, because you're saying the New World Order is the Federal Reserve, and how do you relate that to the studios?
Because the corporations, the companies where they get their money, are run by the people who are the Federal Reserve, the media, the studios, CIA. They all got their tentacles into what is distributed. It's called censorship. So every script, every actor is put through some kind of censorship and approved by a studio, which is governed by the CIA or the mob or the Federal Reserve, who has the money to afford such things.
Okay, how do you know that?
How do I know that? The same way I know Hamlet. Oh, that this too solid flesh would melt, thaw, and resolve itself into a dew, or that the everlasting... Because I read it, I researched it, I figured it out. So I'm letting you know so you can now go research it and figure it out for yourself.
Uh-huh. All right. So, Q, the Federal Reserve is combining all these corporations for censorship.
Well, I don't fight corporations, sir. I make billions for corporations, sir. I'm an artist, so I make money for corporations. I don't fight nobody. I'm an artist. My talent is about doing speeches, making people, applaud. I don't do nothing but give entertainment. But the corporations, and I'm certain you're a very smart guy, you've seen corporations do what they do. You've heard of what goes on. So figure it out.
And what about martial law?
So basically, actually, before we get into that, I would like you, sir, to just go ahead and give us your take on what you feel the whole New Order is.
Well, from what I've read, the New World Order is supposed to have been headed up by the Rothschild family, going back to about 300 years, supposedly worth about $300 billion.
Mm-hmm.
And what they want to do is actually combine the European Union, form an Asian Union, form a North American Union, and combine them to get all the geography of the Earth together so that they can rule and also do depopulation. But I don't know how that figures in with the studios.
Well, that's up to you to figure out. I mean, you can either drink the water. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You see what I'm saying? Like, the Rothschilds, yeah, we know the Rothschilds. We know the Rockefellers. We know the Mellons. We know, the DuPonts. We understand who we're dealing with. We know the Bushes. I mean, they came over on the Mayflower. So you think that the New World Order, this mentality, doesn't affect everything? You think what you watch on TV, people are not approving that to be watched? You think that you can just put anything on TV?
What am I hearing in the background? Sounds like an aquarium.
One guy he's getting his job on, man. So, but actually to tie into that, man, I mean, what I've researched about it, you know what I'm saying, over the few years, I hear a lot of points that I've seen that both, parties are making, Mr. Chong. And, excuse me, sir, what would you like to be called? What's your name? You got to give us your real name. But
Joe.
Joe, yeah, Joe, that's right. If Joe was concerning, but I kind of see both of your ways because as far as I understand or what I've been reading about it is it's kind of, it's kind of like a certain few or I guess an elite, that are supposed to be almost in a cult fashion, trying to take over the world and get us under one government. You know what I'm saying? One system, one way of doing everything, and pretty much to entrap us and enslave us, into doing things their way.
Yeah, and that's what I was reading. I just wanted to know how it fit in with the studios because I wasn't.
Well, I'll tell you how it fits in with the studios, which is conditioning. Okay, it's who your heroes. How come Cleopatra has always been portrayed by white women? How come Egyptians are always portrayed by white men? Because the studio would not let a black man portray Cleopatra. Because what would that imply? That would say that Jesus might have been black. So everything you see is the same thing. Why is that? Because someone has green-lighted that. You know the term green light? When a studio affirms a script, they green light it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, sometimes if they got a green light, they can put up a yellow light. They got a yellow light, they can put up a red light, which is stop and caution, okay? So let's say I want to write a script called The King of Egypt, the story of the first king Osiris, and I want to put a black man in that particular role. Well, you know what? That script won't get green-lighted. Why is that? because the Federal Reserve is the one who's funding that studio. Where does the studio get their money from? Loans, mortgages. Okay? Who has to pay back those loans? The audience. Do the math.
All I'm saying is that the way that you're explaining it, people are going to scratch.
Hey man,
their head.
I'm not Martin Luther King, bro. I'm not Obama. I'm an actor, dog. I can't tell you the ins and outs of the Federal Reserve, and even for you to expect me to do so is a little bit too much. I say my lines, I hit my mark. Okay, so you're expecting me to give you the answers that I don't have answers to. You're a smart guy.
Okay.
Go find those answers, man. Go find them for yourself.
So basically, how we do things on here on the show, man, is like everybody's allowed to voice their opinion and, you know, and pretty much, you know, take whatever they want, you know, with a grain of salt, you know what I'm saying? But we don't want to really attack anybody. I mean, if they say something and, you know, you ask them a question and they don't answer how you would like it to be answered or whatever, I mean, yeah, hey, ask them to repeat it or whatever, but, you know, if not,
I
you
just
know,
said I just said I didn't understand the way he was trying to tie things in. That's not attacking. I don't understand how he's doing it. I don't understand
you, sir. So what you need to do, sir, is figure out what you want to hear, and we'll tell you what you want to hear, okay? But I can't sit up here and just until you give me some money. I'm not saying a script for you, okay? I'm gonna say what is in my heart. If you don't understand it, too bad. Get over it.
Yeah, it's my fault.
Yeah, it is your fault.
All right. What about martial law?
What about martial? What does that have to do with me? Do I look like a police officer to you?
Is not the show description about the new world? Now I'm getting sick of this. Now, if
yeah,
you
well,
can
hang up
explain
the phone,
things,
man. Why
that's
you
your
talking
problem.
To me? Explain things. Who am I to explain things to you? You're not a child. Explain things to me, sir.
Basically,
Why
man,
I'm not on the phone to explain nothing to you.
Basically, yeah, everybody is on here just to, you know, to get their opinion. Yes, we have topics on our show, and touch these topics when I get.
Well, I mean, this guy's coming from left field talking about martial law. What the fuck does martial law have to do with this conversation with me on the phone? I mean, well, why don't I sit there and ask about some crazy shit to you out of left field? I don't know what you're talking about.
Man, I couldn't hear it, man. Mine started cutting in and out, man, when it was that good.
Yeah. I think
it actually went longer than that. I actually, now that I'm listening to it, I think that I don't think that Joe instigated that.
He didn't, but
nah, he didn't.
Like we said, even after Marcus you could tell he got irritated.
Yeah,
he got irritated. He let him get under his skin. You know what I'm saying?
That irritation was going up the meter
exactly
every single minute of all that conversation.
And now, really, to answer Joe's question, we talked about this earlier when he was talking about the studios. They have, the government has patents, you know what I'm saying? And they got contracts with everything, media, entertainment. You know.
I get what he's saying though, but Marcus actually spoke on that. He was like, "Look, man, I'm just telling you what I feel. I ain't got the answers that you want. You need to figure that out." And then Joe hit him back with a little underhand. You know what I'm saying? They kept nudging each other. I'll say that they kept nudging.
Kept asking the same, because my thing is like, dude,
he was asking the same question.
I think he thought after a while, and I thought it too. Now that I look back on it, Joe was kind of really messing with him. You know what I'm saying? Because just think about it.
Yeah.
He asking the same, and I'm getting it. I'm like, yeah, do the studio, the condition. You know what I'm saying? Entertainment is.
But he wanted something more tying. I guess you can assume that, but it's nothing that says that it is that. It's still pretty general.
Joe was poking the bear. That's all he was doing.
That's all Joe was doing. I agree because you don't have to ask the guy the same damn thing 15 ways. and my apologies to Joe. I thought Joe was the first guy, but that was like what 15, 20 years ago. So you give me grace. But yeah, Joe was doing it, and Marcus kind of knew what he was smelling. Marcus was like, "Come on, bro, you just process this shit, let it go." You know, it ain't that.
Let it go.
It ain't that hard.
Energy real quick though.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what I was thinking during this whole thing as it was playing off? I was like, "Fuck, I'm never gonna get Marcus back on here again."
Because we didn't talk to him after that.
Nah, he's a good dude, man. Still like
I would like to see if he would wanna.
I'll make it. I'll
Yeah.
work on it though. I'll work on it.
That would be interesting to see, where he at on that now.
I will say his
It's
defense.
interesting to actually get him and Sophia Stewart on at the same time.
Two of
That
our
would be
OG
interesting.
alumni. Yeah,
That would be interesting.
man. That would be nice. That would be nice. All right, we putting it out there for y'all to check on. Like, well, all right, then, all right. That's what's up. Hey, but y'all, like, seriously, yo, I think Marcus said it pretty solid, and I think we talked about it as far as just how, what we call New World Order. I think if you fast forward it to now, 2026, compared to 2008, I mean, there's a lot of things that we say or have seen or whatever. That was just like, oh, okay, yeah, these countries are in cahoots. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's pretty blatant. And then the people that runs, like, the inmates are running the asylum type of thing. I believe that too, because there is a power structure that I feel like has been, pilfered through for decades on end. And it's just like, if we're trying to like squeeze in there and be part of the little group or whatever, because I got my way, I got ideas, I got this, that, and the other, they're going to turn you back and go over there.
I'm starting to think that we got two capitals in this country. One in DC and one in Tel Aviv.
Come on. Come on.
Right, it's too entertainable for us to be like we go on. We it's support at all costs, no matter what. And I'm like, why? Like, I don't get that. Especially when there's other relations, you would think we'd be closer with England. Well, we fought them everywhere we had, either against them or with them.
Right. But it's just a politics of the day.
We don't have no allegiance to them like that.
It's too much going on to the point where it's all intertwined and connected and complicated and messy and dirty and disgraceful and secrets that we'll never know, but we kind of know, but they probably have more on top of that and shit like that or whatever. That's why I always feel like there'll never be a woman president ever, for that same reason, because you get somebody else in there, a different gender, all these secrets is going to be somewhat either exposed or put out there, shit like that. That's why there'll never be a woman president.
I don't know. I think she would still be held by the same standards of keeping secrets, just like everybody else. We got women servicemen and Secret Service, and they don't be spilling the beans. They know better.
Yeah.
So I think that if you're a part of the machine, you're going, unless you're a whistleblower, you're going to be a part of the machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a saying: change only comes when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change.
I agree.
And one day people are going to burn to the point where they just can't burn no more. And I think
the time you see real movement, because
that's it.
Real movement now, and you see a decline in it, is because you can always move away.
That's right.
We couldn't move away. We was unified like crazy.
Exactly.
Once you were able to move away, everybody did, and you didn't have to worry about the march coming down your street. Stay on the other side of town. You ain't got to worry about that. Ain't nobody gonna say you affiliated with nothing. But back in the day, hell, if it came down Main Street, every postman know that you stay on Main Street. The people at your job know you stay on Main Street. And the protest was on Main Street, and that's all they know.
Exactly.
So now, like I said, when you can go live across town and act like you ain't never even been black, you can get away with some things now. That part. And I think what Marcus said had a lot of merit, because maybe we don't know exactly how things happen today, the underpinnings of it. But if we look at, the historic state of our institutions, back before we were enslaved, where we had serfs, and as soon as we had Bacon's Rebellion, they said, well, we got to build propaganda so we could separate the European indentured service with the Africans. So now that was a whole propaganda machine to make people believe that we were less than, because, hey, how can we keep our power, then pit these people against each other and say, hey, we're going to give you honorary membership to the club. You're not going to have any real value. You're going to have any real wealth. You ain't going to have really nothing but to say or to believe that you are better than this person over here. And that was a propaganda machine that was propagated
for decades, maybe even a little less than a century, to condition people. So would the media be a evolved portion of that or evolved myth of that? Possibly. Think about world wars. Think about how history is taught. It's a large mechanism that spans through every element of our society. Like when Walter Whitney wrote How Europe Underdeveloped Africa, he had quotes where from scholars to say, hey, we want you writers to blame Africans for enslaving people, to make them seem just as culpable or even more culpable about the slave trade.
You can actually look it up, but you can look up and see what King Leopold told the missionaries and everybody to do when he sent them over to Belgium. He specifically told them, "We ain't there to do none of that. You give them enough of that Bible to help them understand that they're supposed to do this, that, and the third." I don't want to quote it verbatim, but you can go look it up. Look up what it like King Leopold say about what was his orders to with his missionaries and the people that was there. They were not there to just help or do nothing. They were there to plunder and to subjugate. This was our playground, and everybody over there gonna do what we tell them to do, because that's what it is. It was nothing else other than that. And when you see that, it's like, how you gonna act like that changed overnight? I mean, this is a leader of a country saying this, and he brutally enforced it.
Right.
And was probably one of the most wicked people that ever walked the earth. And we don't give him enough credit for being that wicked.
That's right. And I think that's why what Marcus Chong was saying has a lot of validity, because we have a historical reference in multiple points in American history and world history to show that there are always powers that will control information to have people believe, or to be conditioned to believe things exist, that water isn't wet, or piss and water are exactly the same thing when we know they're not. So I understand where Joe was coming from, but I think Joe, like Brandon said, he was poking the bear. And
yeah, I also think that both had valid points, like Instant said when he did it live. But I always look at it like this. I mean, even one of the wars was gonna, we're gonna pause on ceasing the war until a certain president became president or whatever. So all the peace war talks, it's all political. It's all a scheme. It's all something. We're gonna continue the war. We're gonna talk about it. They're gonna find whatever deal they need to find. But it's all strategy that they bring. They put up. They can stop a war when they want to. They can start a war when they want to. And then in Marcus Chong's case, with getting just his proper due in terms of how these things are related, it's just the same thing, right? Like, you know what? They're gonna go ahead and cut this man's, like, you gotta think about it. Like, he was the star of Panther, so he had a resume.
Yeah.
Get to the Matrix, and then for whatever reason, it broke. And now they want to blackball him while he's still on set. Think about that shit.
I found it. I caught it. It was interesting when he brought up. Maybe he just didn't bring him up, but when he brought up producers or whatever, I think he mentioned John Singleton and somebody else, but he didn't. Who was the dude that actually did Panther? It wasn't neither one of them. I forgot what his name was. Because his dad is a director or producer also.
Was it Mario Van Peebles? Did he do it?
Mario Van Peebles, yeah.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah,
I love some Mario Van Peebles, man.
Yeah.
But see, he even brought up like others in terms, like, I don't know what happened on the set. Something damaging happened on the set where his career literally took a nosedive. And the why it happened is interesting. But again, there's gatekeepers, just like we talked about in politics and war, just like we talk about in the entertainment business, just like we talk about in finance, you name it, there's gatekeepers. That's how it is. Are we cool with it? No, we know about it. They can deny it all they want to.
We playing a game that you got to learn to master, and once you master, the administrators, they can change the rules of the game. To me, we got to have our own concept, our own whole identity, and I think that they're working on that back in the motherland. But I think that it's gonna be a while for it's all connected all around the world. But actually, I don't know. Like I said, I've been just seeing something lately where the Caribbean islands are doing stuff to unify themselves with African countries. So
Yeah.
yeah, we might be behind on that.
I think we are because African countries are literally trying to make deals with Caribbean countries,
Yeah, yeah.
African Americans. I was in a conference just last year where they are pitching economic business opportunities to Black folks to help build up these countries because they want the wealth to keep at a minimum to keep within the people in the diaspora. So that's the type of unification that can help create generational wealth and stability. Because when I go to Kenya, it's like Atlanta. It is man. Please, I could go down downtown Atlanta. I won't know the difference. I'd be like, damn, I feel like I'm in Nairobi.
I can't wait till you go. I really want to see you do something from there because to me, I think that more people need to hear that. I had a one of my boys that used to stay with me. He need to hear that because I think that he still believes. I think that Mexico is a third world country or something. I'm like, Mexico is not a third world country.
Yeah,
I don't know why people think that.
Conditioning.
Well, yeah,
conditioning.
I do know why. You're right. I do know why they think that, but it's like that's wild. It's like y'all really think that Mexico is a third world country? You tripping?
Like really? You definitely tripping.
Everybody,
so many people do.
And like compared to who? You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
Compared to somebody in Appalachia who literally lives like they're in the third world country. There's always somebody who has it. I see
don't know what the hell they talking about.
Don't know what the hell they talking about, but I see more people who have nothing who will always say that somebody else has nothing because of a stereotypical idea. It's like, bro, you worse off than me, and you calling me shit. You calling Africa shit.
Right.
Just like I had a conversation with somebody when I at my old job one time, and she had all these stereotypes about Black men and how we are and how we live and things like that. Just hypothetical, right? We used to have these friendly debates because we have strong opinions, right? But after I got to know her, I just told her like you talk a lot about Black men and how successful they are, but almost every Black man on this floor is more successful than any white man you've ever been with. So it's that conditioning, and sometimes it's like a poison. Once it gets in your veins, you can't get rid of it because you get it directly, you get it indirectly. You turn on the TV, you see a white lead 10 times and a Black lead 1 time. You get screwed by when you go to the store, you see advertising. It's just so many cues that tell you that this is the standard and this isn't. You know what I'm saying?
It's the Matrix, BMO. We are witnessing that. I mean, not even pun intended, as we talk about Marcus Chong, Matrix, Panther, shit like that. We are in here. Like, I feel like if again, I'm big on self-aware. Like, I hope everybody strives to be self-aware. And I'm not saying you got to be right with everything that you discover or talk about, but just be aware, not just of yourself, but other people, strengths, flaws, whatever the fuck, right? But we're stuck in here right now. There is a game being played that we're not invited to right now
in real time.
Higher ups and shit like that, and other people who want to see other people fail because they want a specific divide of not just high class, middle class, lower class, but lower than low class. Because again, we could talk about homeless all day and all the fact that all that shit's out there. More money than you can ever imagine. People got billions, but still, again, it's the old Tupac reference. Money for war. Can't feed the poor. All that shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's still being done. How long have we been on this earth? Long enough to see it, and other people before us and all that shit. So
and long enough to know what happened before us.
We're not invited, but we know about it though, and I think that's a start.
I agree. And my biggest
I think that there's a lot of knowledge. I'm not gonna say how deep people know stuff because just hearing people and the stuff that we just typical stuff. People really think they know what they're talking about, and they know something. It's a whole mountain. They got the top frosting, and they swear for God that they got a whole mountain of information. And I think that most of us are wrong on that. I think that we know
yeah.
way more than we really know.
Yeah. But
Because
Marcus Chong
that's
said
the
it
only
too.
thing that makes sense. Because it doesn't make sense unless you just believe we trifling and stupid, which I don't believe any group of people on earth is trifling and stupid like that. No group on the earth is striving for its own demise, because we don't even think enough together to think like that. How are we gonna all think the same way, but we ain't unified? It's impossible. That says it's something else. And to me, the biggest something else is lack of knowledge. We just think we know enough. We just think that we have all the pieces and parts together when we don't.
You saying the word there, Jack. You saying the whole word right there, and that's the key. Is a lot of people believe that what they know is everything that exists in that realm of knowledge and information.
Look at your own life.
Yeah, in life.
Look at what you know right now and opposed to what you thought you knew about something 20 years ago.
I learned that I don't know shit.
I really thought I knew what the hell I was talking about. So I got in this and realized I wasn't even scraping the top of this motherfucker.
Yeah. I had a conversation with my cousin about my nieces and nephews, and I made this point about this generation, to where this generation doesn't have, and just my generation and my family. I'm not saying everybody, right? But they don't have the tools to understand what due diligence really means. You know, when they say things, they think they know it, and their explanation is what they think it is, and that's everything to it. And I'm like, no, you have to, like I told my relative to say, we have to tool them to understand that they need to learn how to research things. They just can't say, oh, this is what it is, and that's the way it should be. No, how about I'll look into it and I'll get back with you. Right. Let me read about it, because if the generation under me comes to me with that, I'm like, no, that's not gonna be good enough for me. You're gonna have to prove me wrong, because I've been on this earth a whole lot longer than you. Now, if you go out there and you find information and you prove me wrong, I'm gonna concede. You're good. But if you just popping off saying, oh, I don't think that's gonna be it because X, Y, and Z, you know,
feelings.
Yeah, your feelings, or some superficial bullshit. That's not good enough. And as adults, we need to stop accepting that shit as the gospel, or go back and forth. It's like this: you look it up, you come back. If you
be humble enough to say, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not a wrong answer.
Most people just can't say, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I don't know. But this is what I'm doing about it, or this is what I think about it. And then if you don't have all the pieces, you're gonna get the wrong answer.
Exactly.
But that's what stubbornness comes in, and you're dug in on wanting to know. This is your truth. I mean, just like everybody has everybody else's truth. Like, you know, that is yours. You're gonna hold on to it for dear life. And to me, that's weird. Like, to me, you have to be like, I feel like I know stuff, but I'm also humble enough to know that I don't know shit either. And I'm still trying to
That's right.
I'm still trying to seek more knowledge at the end of the day. I'm acknowledging that, but a lot of people can't do that. Like, oh, I could be wrong because I've been wrong hella times. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people don't understand that shit.
Hey, with you saying that, Brandon, that just reminded me of in our officials book. Like, I know it's in softball and it's probably in football and all these other, especially in football. But one of the guys that writes the book is like, you know, no matter what, nobody knows all the rules.
Right.
I'm like, damn, you know what I'm saying?
Right. That's deep.
In football, there's so many damn rules, bro. You know, you play football and then you go and you referee football. You be like, man, you thought you knew the game, and you like, man, I saw referee and I was like, man, I didn't know shit. I didn't know nothing.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
I'm still learning.
Like, even in the old NFL book, I didn't know you could, like, you know, it was a certain thing you had to be in a position so you could kick an uncontested field goal or whatever it was. And I didn't know that was even part of the real rule books at all. And I remember seeing a team do that shit, and I was like, wow, okay, that's different. But no, you're right. But also, even with that though, fellas and people listening, it's still like, people got to know, like, what you feel like you know, you might be dead on, but still there's evolution to different layers of how you uncover shit too.
Yes.
Right. So if you are really trying to, like, seek knowledge, just know that you might be right today.
Right.
Wrong tomorrow. You know,
found out that you was just on the surface next week.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the part. I think that's a big part of most people's problem, because you won't feel disappointed if you understand it's gonna be like that. But when you go, oh damn, and then you realize somebody about to call you on your bullshit because they knew way more than what you knew. Now you get defensive, and when you shouldn't be defensive, I just learned more. I just got smarter.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. I thought I knew that. And now I know this. Oh wow. I can't wait to tell the people that I thought I knew something. Wait till I tell them that it's more to it. But some people they can't do that. They just I got this argument for right now, and it's like I'm cool with being right. And they still might know that there's way more to it. And they gonna stick with that. I'm gonna be right here just so I can win this argument. Yeah. And I think that's lame. And I think
that's selfishness, though.
Do it. I ain't gonna say everybody does, but I think it's more of people's problem than not.
Yeah, that's selfishness and stubbornness too. They're just dug in. They just don't want to relinquish whatever control they feel like they have over that particular truth at that time. Like that's stubborn.
Some people are smart. It depends on how dumb everybody else is in the room. Because some people really love being in a room full of dumbasses.
Yeah, you ain't
they look smart.
Make themselves look smart as shit.
I always say this: if I'm the smartest person in the room, then I'm in the wrong room. Then, so I will hold that to the death. Like, because again, somebody is gonna give me something that I've never experienced or encountered before in terms of knowledge. Like, I seek that. That's why I don't hang around with a lot of people. I kick it with y'all, but the people that I see, I just want to know more from other people who could give game too, like in addition to y'all. And I just think that's how it should be. Like, I need to know more because
I try to learn from others. I got a cousin that actually I go over there and I sharpen my iron with him. And I thought I knew some shit about some stuff. And they'd be like, oh yeah, well, I don't see it that way. And where'd you get that from? And then when you got to try to tell him where to get it so he can learn exactly what you learned, that'd be the hard part. A lot of times where we're getting bits and pieces of information here and there. We formulating that with our own ideology and come up with something like it was like you really read that and came out of a factual book, which I still don't even have a problem with that because my thing on books is that's somebody's opinion also.
Right.
Dead ass wrong. I don't know why.
And they wrote their opinion first. They put it set in the stone first. So that don't mean it's right though. That don't mean it's right.
Dead ass wrong, but you say, oh well, it was in the book. So and I read
books. So have you ever came across somebody who said, like, you was talking about something, like, oh yeah, I know that. Hey, where'd you get that from? Oh yeah, no, I read it right there. It was written the other day. That first person put that answer down, so I just went with that. And I'm like, are you 100% certain that that's fact? Like, did you do research or whatever? Like, do you know that? Like, then they're like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, man.
That's why I try to say, from what I've heard, from my understanding, what I've seen, these are things like I try to always keep it to myself because I don't like to generalize. And if I'm generalizing, I'm like, in general, I mean, just generally speaking or something like I try to make sure that I'm telling you where I'm getting it from. Like, if I know something, if I know 1 + 1 is 2, then I'm gonna say, oh, 1 + 1 is 2, and I'm not really gonna argue with you, no matter whether I can tell you where I read it or not. But I leave room to go, okay, he might be right. I leave room for that.
Yeah. Because I mean, you got to be in a situation where if you're dead ass wrong, then you're dead ass wrong, bro. Look, I got proof right here. Let's, but you got to, I mean, seriously though, but you always got to be open to
a lot of people, especially a lot of podcasters, I've noticed some are actually skilled. And I want to actually learn those type of skills and learn and read up on some things on how to really manipulate conversations. Because there's some people that's all they're doing. They've learned the art of manipulating the conversation, and so they'll keep you twisting and turning when they know they dead ass wrong. Even when you got them, they know how to word it to where you can't nail them down so they can be right. That's a form of dishonesty to me because it's like you still trying your best not to be wrong when you know damn well you're wrong.
Those is the ones that is scary because they have a platform to promote it and put it out there, and then they're going to form their own opinion. But some of these people might be like, oh yeah, nah, I knew about that. He just said, or she just said whatever. But those are the scary ones though, because they do use that as pure manipulation.
Exactly.
For the whole thing, like, and that's scary though. That's hella scary.
Yeah, because there's some people that are skilled enough that actually have you tongue twisted. And I've noticed that a lot of the Black conservatives definitely do it. They will stick to they gonna ask a question a certain way that if you ask it that way, yeah, they are right. But
Straw
in
man,
general, it's not right.
And
straw
they're
man and
dug
red
in.
herrings.
They're dug in, and they will not get off that too. They will stay.
No matter
They will
how
stay
you
on
ask it, they're gonna bring it right back to that, even when it don't make sense. So really, when they're not good at it, you see them doing it. Like that he just asked you another question, and he asked you to where you can't answer it like that, and you still do it.
You can see the chink
Still
in the
do it. You
armor.
even change his question to fit it. That's a person that's unskilled at doing that, but they're actually trying to use a certain formula to be right.
And it's very deep and it's very intricate. It's almost like a science.
Yeah, it is.
It really is. And one thing about Republicans or Black conservatives, for example, there's a lot of examples, is they bank on the ignorance of the audience. And they know what they're saying is not factually correct, but it's just enough that the people who are not knowing of everything will believe.
I would agree with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. They will do that.
Yeah, exactly. And I got tons of examples I want to get into. I got a few, but I feel like I'll be drifting. But that's
we save it for when we're gonna have a topic about that, because I think we got
exactly.
meat on the bone for that. Because like I said, I see it a lot, and people that do that, and I'm like, you know what you're doing. You know that is not totally true what you're
Pure
saying.
manipulation, not only media manipulation, but also manipulation of factual data that needs to be discussed and addressed. So I feel like we can go toe for toe with whoever. So if we're gonna call shots, hell, I know a few places or whatever. We gonna call names. We gonna call names, and fuck it, I don't care.
Yeah, like
And
I
if
said,
they want to come here and talk their talk, we got it. We right here. I ain't scared. Like what?
I think Elizabeth Booker Houston, she called it malinformation, is what they coined it. Is basically the speaking of truth to intentionally manipulate people, to use the facts to guide them to a wrong end. So that's
one is that one where it's blacks are only 13% of the population, but they make up 50%. 50% of what crime? I agree with you on certain crimes, but across the board, that's not
never
true.
been with that man.
And then if we get specific, I can name a few that we ain't even in the running. I can name some that we ain't in the running. That's pretty despicable.
You know what? Over the last like maybe 5-10 years or maybe longer, but there's been a lot of. I mean, even politicians are coming super misleading as well in terms of data.
Exactly.
Job numbers. You go, black on black crime. You go every single walk of data in terms of as far as this is why black folks is the way they are because this data right here says this.
Yeah,
it's not fucking
it's
true.
misinformation. Yep, and then they use their authority. And here's the problem: the people who listen will believe because they are perceived to be authority figures, right? Yep. They are perceived to be leaders, so they will take what they say and take it seriously because we expect our leaders to know what the hell they're talking about. Yep. But little do they know is that politics is not about leadership; it's a popularity contest. That's all it is.
Because power struggle. In an ongoing power struggle because it's I mean, I get you, BMO popularity, sure. Yeah. But also it's really power manipulation at its finest right now.
At its finest. The only reason why I say that is because you don't have to be qualified. You don't have to have a base of knowledge. All you have to do is communicate, manipulate, and con people to vote for you. Lying is not illegal. Lying is not illegal. And one thing that they fall for every single time is
but they still don't tell the truth under oath, man. What are you talking about?
They don't. They don't.
You're supposed to go to jail. You know what I'm saying?
Supposed to. But you and I, we all know what time it is.
We be under the jail. You know
exactly.
You know what? I want to do research on that because we do believe that if it's an oath that I guess it's called perjury if you're doing that. But we know that these motherfuckers do it and then when you see how they answer questions when they be at these little meetings or whatever, I'm like,
the hearings.
Not that I know of. He'll answer a whole nother question. I'll be like,
and they would go ramble.
How did I recall?
They would talk about.
Not that I recall. I don't know if I really stabbed her or not.
I don't recall. It's the same thing.
You can't get away with no criminal record.
They would talk about everything else
all day. You can even show video footage. And they'll still do it. And I'm like, damn, dude.
They're like, we saw video footage of you getting out of that car and committing that crime.
I don't remember.
But it was raining that day, and I don't think
Oh,
that
Sure
was
is
me.
he. That's
That
still
Exactly.
wasn't
fuzzy on
me.
the tape.
It was raining, and somebody else was driving or whatever. I wasn't nowhere near there. Oh my God, you're
And
saying
they'll
that
get
was
away
me?
with it.
Right.
And get away with it.
And
To
get
me,
away with it.
that shit
Saying you
is
don't
so
remember ain't
exposing.
perjury. Saying you don't remember ain't perjury. That's why they say what they say. Anytime I watch a hearing and I see somebody say I don't recall, you know what you're saying, but you don't want to get caught up for it.
Yeah.
So that's a tactic. It's not. They don't even see us taking it personal. They just see it as, all right, I'm just going to say what I need to say to get through this, because I know if I get confirmed, it don't matter. If I get to point B, it don't matter. It doesn't matter if I'm a liar, a cheater, a crook, or whatever. As long as I get to where I need to get. There is no integrity. PDF.
Or you get somebody to be like, "Hey, we saw you right there. We have this video footage of you right there.
I don't
You were
remember
doing it."
that.
And then they'll lean over. I don't recall.
Right. Right. And I'm like, dude, this is, I mean, they just playing in our face, dude. They just playing in our face. That's the reason why I be like, how do y'all take this serious, dude? So I don't get mad at the bees of the world to be like, vote this bullshit.
Hey, but think about this though.
Like, I'm watching this. Like, how you
think about this?
Serious?
This is one main thing that they're getting out of this too.
Listen to
eyeballs, which remember is still entertainment too. So they get money. They got all these people watching this shit, this bullshit, but everybody watching, they making money out of that.
Power. It's deeper than money too, though. In a sense, it's power.
Hold up. It's just my camera. Is everybody else seeing these?
No, yeah, he's been glitching for a while, bro.
I'm about to say, bro, I'm waiting to turn into Smith from the Matrix.
Hey, V.
I'm like, ain't nobody saying shit, but I'm like,
nah, I just let that motherfucker been glitching for the last hour and a half, bro.
I'm sitting there going, damn. I'm like, ain't nobody saying nothing. I'm like, this been going on for a minute.
If you was a little lighter, I would be thinking you might be a hologram of Mitch McConnell, bro. Like, he's a little lighter.
I was waiting for him to turn into Smith. I'm like, okay, so y'all playing. I know we on the Matrix and shit. Y'all finna make this dude turn into Smith on this shit.
Black Max Headroom.
Yo, Max Headroom.
Max Headroom.
Yeah.
I don't know why he started glitching out like that.
Hey, V, did you notice it for a while? He been glitching.
Yeah, I just was like, why ain't nobody saying nothing? I'm like, maybe I'm the only one to see the shit.
I'm riding with it, man.
I'm just ignorant, bro. I just let it go, man. That's just what you're doing right now, man. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Hood rules. Don't ask no questions.
Hey, BMO.
What's going on?
Hey, BMO. Incense look like that dude from that MTV commercial or that MTV. You know that dude that glitches in on TV and shit like
he
that.
Said it. Max
said, hey, I just walked in from a portal. Shit.
Oh Lord.
Hey, I feel like once he started admitting that he started glitching a lot more, bro. Like, I don't know, man.
That's why I thought it was something planned. I was like, okay. All right, well, I'm finna bust it up because I'm noticing this shit. Ain't nobody saying that.
Like y'all took a long time to notice shit.
I was making no noise, man. Hey, look, as soon as you said Marcus Chong was right,
listen, I was programmed to ignore it, bro.
Exactly.
I was programmed. I didn't want to mention it. Hey, before that third hour hits, this is another wonderful trip down memory lane. I don't know what route we're gonna go next time, but we'll discuss it off air and see where we're gonna go with it, because we still got a host of other classic content. We have some new shit we have yet to discuss, so it's gonna be up in the air. Make sure y'all subscribe to the TACT News with a Z on YouTube and on all social media platforms.
I'm gonna see if I can reach out to Domino and see if I can get him on.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Then that means we got to pull up some of his old shit and see what he was.
I want to ask him about the space race again.
Domino has some. He has some philosophical conversations with the group at one point in time. So we need to.
I felt like my interviews with him was some of my better interviews.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we ain't gonna play that bonus clip, or we ran out of time.
Nah, man. I mean, he kind of discussed it when V asked him that question, and then he mentioned Terrence Howard. We're fine with that.
Okay.
We're fine with it. I
What
just
was
stuck
the
that in there. I told Instance, like, I was like, man, just in case we could just run that. But I mean, he was already prophesizing a lot of shit anyways. That would just be, it would be overkill because we kind of already talked about it, and he mentioned it
Right.
too. So
Right.
we're good.
Right.
We're good.
All right. So no MFs today, but okay, we have it for our future after hours then.
Or just put it out as a clip, like a little short clip.
was short? Yeah.
I don't think it's short. I don't think it's short though.
It is. It's about a 6-minute clip, so it's fairly lengthy. So.
Yeah, we don't need it. We don't need it. But the entire unedited interview will be airing tomorrow around the same time. So it'll be on the YouTube channel. People can hear it in its entirety because I clip stuff. So there's more to this. Don't forget.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of heat. You know, we didn't get to it, but that might have been after hours content anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that to bed, y'all. Yeah.
You want the music to play out? You want the music to play out?
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm looking at the panel here, and I don't have the outro. Or do I just run back the intro?
Yeah, go back to the intro, which is technically still outro or whatever. So run that back, end it, and then let's all talk for at least 5 minutes before we shut it down completely.
All right, then sounds good. Go ahead, V.
I want to, like I said, put at the end of it. Remember the little poltergeist scene? Man, when me and Nick was talking about it, remember the little poltergeist scene with a girl sitting in front of the TV, and they're back.
Oh Lord,
they're back, bitches.
Roll it.
I want to
gotta make something like that.
Yeah, we gotta
make
end it like that.
Yeah, make it happen, Brandon.
Yeah.
Editor extraordinaire.
We back.
We can edit that part on it just to make it ours. Yeah, we can do that.
I'm rich, bitch.
I like that. All right.
TACT News.
Yeah.
Until next time.
And another.
Yeah. Tune in. Turn the lights down low. You're locked into the frequency. Truth or conspiracy theories. Step into the shadows where the neon starts to fade. Pulling back the curtain on the plans that they have made. We're decoding all the static. Looking past the screen, chasing down the hidden links. Keeping the